wide world of sports is going on here.
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you're having a decent day today. We do have some red flag warnings and all that kicking in today. It's going to be a warm one. Mid-90s today, so I didn't recall seeing much rain yesterday. At least not where I was at. I don't know if other parts of town may have saw some. It got close. I even smelled rain, but no dice on what I saw. At least unless I missed it. It got cloudy. It got maybe a spittle, maybe, but I didn't see any rain. So maybe I just stand in the wrong spot. Hopefully some people got rain. I don't know. Although when I was coming into the office this morning, I noticed I heard water running through the building gutters, through the drainage system. So I don't know. Unless that's water coming from the roof, from the water cooler or a swamp cooler or something. I don't know, but maybe they got rain here. I just missed it. I don't know. But today, not so much with the rain. It's going to be hot and well, it's muggy now, but if we've got fire weather, we have a red flag warning actually later today, beginning at 10 a.m. So I imagine that humidity is going to drop fast. If there's a bunch of humidity, it's kind of hard to have a red flag warning. So methinks it's going to go away pretty quick here. But hopefully, everything will work out just fine. But happy Thursday. Hope you're having a good day so far, getting ready for the weekend. Getting your weekend plans, things like that. And it's kind of, right in that spring, everyone's got summeritis, like you're ready for summer right now, but it's not there yet. You're like, no, I got another month or so here. Kids got another month or so of school. Just everything's like on. Everyone's getting ready. I could tell. I just feel like everyone's got a little hint of summeritis going on. It's for instance, my wife had some online training the other day, and where she has to go and take these classes online with the other teachers as they, teachers like doctors. They're kind of always training when they're not doing. So she was in one of these big Zoom training sessions. You could just tell, like, the entire, and there was a bunch of people in there. I don't know, 30, 50. I don't know, there's a bunch. You could just tell they were all like tired. It's towards the end of the day, and the instructor's asking questions, and even the instructor's kind of like, all right, I'm tired too. All right, let's wrap this up, So I think that sentiment is everybody right now. Everyone's kind of just pining for summer, but it'll get here fast. Don't worry, kids. It'll be here quick. Parents, adults. It'll get here quick. I know we're all excited about it, but it'll be here before you know it. Actually got a lot going on between now and then, and that's why we have a pretty full show today here. Actually, let me give you the rundown right now. We got a full slate for you. This hour, in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to have joining us Pastors Mark Green and Pastors Joel Wood, Harvest Ministries. Of course, Pastor Joel Wood also is a pastor at Waymaker Church, but they're going to give us updates on several things, including Harvest Ministries, the Homeless Coalition, and, of course, remind everybody National Day of Prayer is coming up here May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's a lot of stuff going on the first part of May here. But yes, so and that's going to be happening at 12 noon on the 5th at the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. So we'll talk about that with Pastors Green and Wood. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Don Weld join us from Friends of Bitter Lake. We might also have Steve Alvarez with Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge join us as well, and they'll give us an update. Of course, they just had Earth Day. They did some projects out there. They've got other things coming up here in the summer months as well, too. So we'll get that update from Don and Steve. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15 or so, Marcos Nava with the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce will join us, and they are gearing up for Fiesta de Cinco de Mayo. That's happening actually the 6th and the 7th from noon to 10 and 10 to 10 on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. And, of course, all the fun of Cinco de Mayo weekend will be there with live music, folklorico dancers, food, the taco and jalapeno eating contests, all of the stuff you come to know and enjoy with Cinco de Mayo. We'll tell you all about here with Marcos about 9:15 or so. Plus, we'll do all of your features that include the news of the local and the national variety, along with your Town Hall Wall Street business updates and Hannity and Kim Commando updates and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Hey, I do want to put this on folks' calendars, too, coming up here in May. American Legion Post 28. They're going to have their first, I'm going to say first annual car show. It's going to be coming up Saturday, May 14th. It's going to be all day, 7 to 4. And it's going to be at American Legion Post 28's lodge there at 1620 North Montana. It's going to be fun, music, food, drinks. Entry fee for vehicles or bikes is $25. And if you would like to submit a vehicle to be a part of the car show, you can contact Joe Lovato for questions at 575-626-7041. But it'll be Saturday, May 14th, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Setup will be from 7 to 9. And, come on out to see all the cool cars. They'll have music, food, and of course, the Post 28 over there just recently did a remodel of their facilities, their bar and everything. And come see the new digs while you're there checking out all the sweet cars and everything. But, again, put that on your calendar, Saturday, May 14th, all day, 7 to 4 there at Post 28, 1620 North Montana, right here in Roswell. Also, baseball fans. May 27th, I know that's about a month away here, but I do want to put this on your radar, too. Tobosa is having their first annual 7th inning stretch. On May 27th, they want you to swing on by Tobosa as they crash in on the Evaders Party for a family fun event. It'll be May 27th from 8 to 8 on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn. They're going to have vendors, arts and crafts booths, more, the Roswell Invaders. If you want to have a booth in the event, you can reach out to Tobosa at 575-624-1025 or 575-416-2209. All right, it is 13 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Spoiler, going to be hot today, and we got red flag warnings and all that coming too.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the high country, and we have low pressure off to our east, and that means gusty wind today, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Very warm with our afternoon high in the low 90s, and we'll be getting a lot of sunshine. Breezy and clear for the overnight hours with low 50s and then close to the 90-degree mark again on Friday. Windy and sunny, 80s and fair for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 53 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 89%. Winds are calm at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a red flag warning that will take effect at 10 a.m. this morning and remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. For today, sunny and warm, 94 are expected high today with winds southwest. A little breezy today, 5 to 10 this morning. But later in the day, picking up 15 to 20, could see wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Tonight, skies will be clear with an overnight low of 53. Winds will remain breezy out of the southwest, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight tonight. Friday, still in the 90s, sunny and 91, west winds 10 to 15 in the morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. In fact, they've issued a fire weather watch for you Friday, and that's going to go from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday night, clear skies with an overnight low of 50, west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then looking at your weekend, sunny and 85 for your Saturday. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then sunny and breezy on Sunday with a high of 91 expected. All right, it is 7:15, actually closing in on 7:16. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we'll talk National Day of Prayer and Harvest Ministries and Homeless Coalition on the other side with Pastors Mark Green and Joel Wood. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Whether you're buying or selling, no one likes to be pressured into making a decision. So when Roswell Ford makes an offer to buy your vehicle, you'll have 7 days to think about it. Roswell Ford is always looking for gently used cars and trucks like yours, and we'll make you a cash offer on the spot. It'll probably be more than the other guys, and we'll give you a week to think about it. That's just the way we do business at the Tailgate Nation. So it only makes sense to see us first when you're ready to sell or to buy. Roswell Ford has southeastern New Mexico's largest inventory of nice pre-owned vehicles. Each one has survived a rigorous 139-point inspection, and Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee. So if you find something you don't like, you can just bring it back. With the days getting longer and summer driving on the horizon, now's the time to start shopping for your next vehicle. So come see us at Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation, where we'll always give you time to think about it. 9th and Main.
For the next few weeks at Country Club Road, we are going to be preaching through the book of James. James is one of those books that is all about practical Christian living. We probably need a reminder of that very subject. God's call to his people is to live their lives in a way that reflects the goodness and righteousness of God. This is seen as we face trials and temptations, which, oddly enough, is James' first paragraph. Let's be honest, sometimes life is hard. When life is hard, how do we survive? How do we keep from going crazy? How do we stay the course? James's answer is odd at first, because he says, consider it all joy when you face trials. We often confuse joy and happiness. We've rarely been happy amid trials and adversity, but I believe we can be joyful. When we're joyful in the midst of the struggles of life, we demonstrate our belief that God has got everything under control and that we just need to trust in Him. This is easier said than done, but His call is to rejoice and to trust. I hope you'll join us as we wrestle with this difficult yet inspiring passage.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
There's nothing like a good night's sleep. But if your old, worn-out mattress is keeping you up at night, then hurry to Glenn's Furniture and change your life. Glenn's carries Serta, the finest mattress in the world. Whether you prefer a traditional inner spring, a modern memory foam, or a hybrid that combines the best of both, Glenn's has the right size and right firmness in stock, specially priced and ready for free delivery. So don't lay awake another night. Head for Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda, making sweet dreams since 1953.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
It's true. I got more of those, by the way. I just did a whole batch of new ones of those. I just got to put them into the system. So more stupidity coming soon on my useless facts. You think those are groaners? Wait till these new batch come in. Good morning. It is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Pastor Mark Green here with Harvest Ministries, Homeless Coalition, anything else. Joel Wood also with that, and Waymaker Church as well, of course. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How's everything going today?
Doing great.
It's going good. It's early.
It is early. That's right. You guys probably start your day about 8 or so, and then get to going. Yeah. But they're here a lot later too. They're there in the later in the night taking care of people. So, but a lot of stuff going on here. Before we kind of talk about some events coming up here, let's kind of get some updates here. Of course, for folks that aren't familiar, I would argue one of the organizations that probably does the most for not only people in our community, but helping other organizations help other people, help people in our community. Harvest Ministries, you guys have that organization started from the ground up and is now. I don't know how Roswell would be able to do what it does without Harvest Ministries kind of being the spearhead for a lot of that stuff. But Harvest Ministries really is probably one of the most biggest organizations here in town that's really just helping people really meet any need. If they're homeless or if they need of food or guidance, you guys put them in the right direction there. That's kind of what they do. So how are things there at Harvest Ministries?
Things are going great. They really are. We are staying really busy, and along with what you said right there, I had met somebody in Home Depot day before yesterday. We were both buying paint for our houses, and he asked me how things were going. I told him good and busy, and I said there's no shortage of hungry people or homeless people or people in need. And he actually said, I think that not only do people need Harvest Ministries for their needs, but he said we need Harvest Ministries because we need to have a place where we can go and serve.
Yeah.
And it's good for both of us. It's good for all of us, and someone just this morning, someone said, I love what you guys do. And I said, well, the good thing is we love what we do too. We love being a part of this.
Well,
we love, every day I get to go to work and love people and love God. What's better than that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not an easy job or by any stretch of the imagination because, you see hard stuff. You see folks in tough situations, and some don't necessarily want to come out of those situations, and you just kind of got to love them until they're ready to make that choice. But
a lot of them can't. They're not in a position to even make that, that decision to get out of where they are.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of people that they either have emotional needs, mental struggles, and all PTSD and all kinds of things, and maybe addictions, and they can't even pull themselves out. So that's why we're there to try to point them in the right direction and get them the kind of help that they can have.
Sure.
So we hope for today, healing for tomorrow. That's our motto.
Well, I'm guessing just, from my experience things and obviously talking to a lot of folks and things, when it comes to helping folks like that, it literally is like, how do you need an elephant? One bite at a time. And it's
exactly.
With folks like that, it literally is like, okay, let's start step 1. Let's get you a place to sleep. Step 2, let's get you an address. You know what I mean? And
sure.
Once you meet one of those goals, it makes it a little easier to get to the next goal. And really, it's just a series of those little steps. Let's get them that next step, and then before you know it, they're closer to the life they hope to be and farther away from the life they were. And
a lot of them, actually, they're close. I would say they're closer to the life they never hoped, or they'd given up hope.
Yeah.
They never thought would be for them. And so, to get them food for today. They're hungry today, and get them a place to stay. Help them get an ID, because without an ID, they can't get a
function
job,
in this world.
Can't get an apartment. Can't pretty much do anything. And that's not an easy process these days. That's a difficult process. So those kind of things, to get, like you said, one step at a time. And for some of them, they're always going to need help. A lot of others, once you get them on their feet and get them back to remembering what a normal life is like,
sure,
they never want to go back to it. So,
sure. And like you said, it's rife with PTSD, mental health, those things. So, and it may be in some of these cases, depending on how they were raised and things, they have no semblance of a regular life because all they know is what they know, and if it's abuse and neglect or whatever the situation was, and to be honest, they probably got very good at being where they're at now, because all those I know enough to know that people like domestic violence victims, PTSD, folks that have dealt with trauma, their defense is to build up walls to kind of shelter themselves, shun themselves away from others to prevent others from doing that to them. And so I would guess your biggest obstacle for Harvest and the Homeless Coalition, obviously, here is to chip away at that wall a little bit, just trying to get them to trust you.
Yeah.
And once that happens, then it's a little easier. But till you get to that point, it could be some work.
Sure. So we, every morning we feed breakfast to the homeless or anybody who's hungry and wants to come eat breakfast. So it's just like a continental breakfast.
Yeah.
A hot sandwich and coffee and tea, hot chocolate, cereal, pastries, fruit, that sort of things. But what we do is we go out there. I go out every morning when I get there, go out and visit with them and just ask them what's going on. They got a new dog. They,
catch up on life a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for some of them, they won't talk to you at all. Some of them, they'll just grunt and look at you and turn away. But little by little, you start breaking down.
The next day, they might give you a wave or a nod.
Exactly.
And then,
you break down those walls, and after a while, you're on a kind of a friend-to-friend basis, and they'll start pouring their heart out to you, and you get to really minister to them where they are, and then finally get them to the place where they're willing to get help.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of them put up walls, and they're not going to let anybody in. And
well, I imagine you build that trust.
Yeah.
Like their first day, they're saying, "All right, why is this guy coming here? What's his agenda?" And after a while, they're like, "Why is this guy still coming?" And then he's saying, "This guy must be crazy coming every day. Let me see what's going on." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is probably the mindset that they're going through. And then finally, they say, "Okay." They get from, all right, maybe this guy really is here to help. He's been showing up every day for the last month and, really at the end of the day hasn't tried to kick me off or do anything other than ask how I'm doing. And so that's kind of how you wear them down a little bit.
But when you think about it, though, in the context of all of us, I think a lot of times we look at them as almost if there's something other than human.
Right. And it's easy to do
they're
that.
Just, even though they're in the midst of an addiction or having issues, the reality of it is, it's like all of us. We always wonder what people's motivations are. We're always looking at a measure of self-preservation and protection. And so most of the time, relationship typically is going to precede being able to receive the resources. Like for all of us, if somebody walks up and says, "Hey, I'm going to have you pay your house payment this month." Now, somebody may go, "That's awesome. Call me." But at the same time, most of us are going to take a step back and wonder,
what's the catch?
Why would that person do that? And and just because their lives are exposed to everyone, we all have problems. Some of us just have problems behind closed doors in a home,
right?
And others are just problems that are displayed for the world to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's just it. And like I was, you're saying earlier, it's easy to kind of or I said it was easy, but it's really, to kind of not look at them that way. And that's just because they're different or something. It's a bit of human nature a little bit. It's kind of, maybe it's part of that self-defense where we're saying, hey, they're different to us. I better not get too close. They might hurt me. And I don't know if that's just what we build our own natural immunities defenses in there. But but when you peel back the layer a little bit, and then you're like, okay, they're no different. They want the exact same things that I want for myself, just to have a different way of getting it, and that's and to be honest, that's humanity. That's life. We're all trying to be happy. We're all we all may have a different definition of what that is, but at the end of the day, we all want the best for us, our families. We want to try, and I honestly believe we all want to help each other to a point. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to wish best. Some are willing to do more than others, but I don't think there's some people that just wish ill will. There's always an exception, but and so I think once we kind of get past our own insecurities and our own trusts a little bit, and just say, hey, it's helping someone out with some food, or helping somebody out get a place to stay for the night, or just talking to someone for 20 minutes or so. We can all do that.
Yeah, Well, and helping always looks different for every person. Often, you remember the tsunami, I think it was in 2004 in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And was talking to some people that had helped with some of the disaster and relief recovery of that. And one of the things that they had said was the first disaster was the tsunami, right? A lot of death. They actually said the second disaster was the aid from America. And sometimes there's an organization called Convoy of Hope. Sometimes certain types of compassion in certain scenarios can hurt instead of help. And so that's where some of the relationship building actually allows you to get to root issues so that you can actually solve problems instead of, it's not always a one size fits all, because all of our lives are different, the stories are different, and the issues are different. So it's definitely an interesting one. That's why he said we love to help, so we just keep running after it and keep making personal connections.
I'm just curious, because I would guess you guys are probably the most expert authority on the homeless situation here in Roswell, as far as people, boots on the ground, seeing what's going on daily in these camps and things like that. Is the population growing, shrinking, staying stagnant? What are we making any dents here? What's going on?
It's hard to tell. So we have our locals, a lot of them that born and raised here, they're from Roswell. Mm-hmm. We have others that have moved through, but we always have throughout the year we'll have a group of transients that come through town.
Is it like seasonal, like warmer weather, nicer? Yeah, I got
colder weather. We have them coming down from the north, and they'll be heading south. And this time of year, they'll be coming up from the south, heading north.
Okay.
And so we do have those transients, and every once in a while, we'll be driving down the street, and my wife will say, "Hey, do you know that homeless person?" I'll say, "No, they're new. They're somebody just coming through town probably." And so it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't really think it's growing by large numbers.
Sure.
But there are more right now. There are a few more. You see more on the street corners.
I didn't know like the world we live in just creates that too. Obviously
sure.
The last 3 years with COVID and everything else, and I think I really think at the end of the day, all said and done, we created a bigger wedge and a smaller one in issues
Sure.
like this because nonprofits went the way of the dodo for a little bit there during there, and then especially things like this where it was more direct and all that, people were like, "Now I got to watch out for my own here," and so some of this took a back seat for a lot of people, and I imagine, and if anything, the numbers grew because as mental health, as everything's deteriorating during this time, people are doing more unrational things like becoming homeless.
Yeah, we're living in the aftermath of the COVID nightmare and all of that, the shutdowns and but something else we're seeing, Mike, is rent and real estate has just gone crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of people that all of a sudden are finding themselves homeless because they can't afford the rent and they have nowhere else to go. And so we've seen several people like that, actually probably 4 or 5 ladies in particular in the past couple of months that their story was, I couldn't pay my rent anymore, and now I'm out, and I have nowhere to go, and I can't afford to get into anything. And so the rent has gone way, way up, especially compared to the cost of living here and our wages. It's higher really than
that's a bigger gap there.
There is definitely a bigger gap, and so we're seeing more of that as well.
Yeah, and that's one that we just got to ride the times as best we can here and help and serve as and try to help. Maybe get creative with ways on finding maybe there's a group of the homeless folks that all share similar interests and things, and hey, let's all be roommates and pitch in 4 of you rent a house or something. Maybe it's kind of options like that we have to figure out. Or and I imagine the shelter, it's always is to capacity, if not close to just about. And
we do see that scenario in particular with a lot of the guys who go to the homeless shelter. 2 or 3 of them will get together after a while and get an apartment and get out together.
I think it's a great idea because now they all work on, lift each other up, and next thing you know, together, it's little more hands make less work, and I think 4 people together trying to get it through is going to make it a little easier for them as opposed to each of them trying to do it on their own.
If I can, let me give some information about Harvest, and then we'll shift to Homeless Coalition.
Yeah, even though we've been kind of bleeding that one together a little bit.
Pastor Joel can help us out on some more of that as well. So number one thing I'd like to get the word out. We need volunteers.
Okay.
This is the first time. I've been there almost 9 years now. It'll be 9 years in a few months. And this is the first time we've ever said we really need volunteers.
Short-staffed.
Not really. We get the job done, but we're
be a lot easier with a few more people.
It sure would be easier, and we could get more done if we had more people. Most of our volunteers, I just looked it up yesterday, so over 65% of our volunteers are retired seniors in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
So you need some young strapping muscles to.
We always need some more people that can lift, a 50-pound box or bag or something like that. Yeah, we could use that. We have a few, but again, most of our people are retired. In the summer, we'll have a few more.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
A few more families who'll come in with kids and they'll help us. But
okay.
But we love our seniors. I am a senior. I got my Medicare card in the mail yesterday.
Nice, you're official. You're official member of the team. That's why I'm right behind you.
So, but yeah, we love our seniors, and they do a great job. So, if you're listening and you're retired and wondering what to do with your time, Dry Harvest Ministries, we have great fellowship there. We really do. It's not just work. We get together and it's a fun time. We work, but we have a lot of fun. And a lot of times they'll come in early in the morning before we start distribution, sit around and drink coffee and talk.
Just socialize.
Kind of like they would at a cafe or something.
Yeah.
And have a lot of fun. So if you or your parents, grandparents, you know somebody who's retired and trying to figure out what they do. Something else I just studied about, and that was that people who retire early without a plan of action suffer cognitive decline in the first 2 years.
I understand. It makes sense, if you're not engaged or not having a point or purpose of doing something.
Exactly, and that word purpose is key because a lot of people say, "Well, I do crosswords and brain teasers and things like that," and the studies have shown that actually that may help a little bit, but really your activities need to have purpose. And I can't think of a greater purpose than working at Harvest, helping the homeless and the hungry. And again, we partner with 14 other agencies and churches, and we make referrals. We coordinate with each other to get them the kind of help that they need. So we need volunteers. Number one. Number two. Here's we're seeing a little bit of uncertainty. I think we all are. Food supplies, that sort of thing. Strange things like the styrofoam cups that we serve coffee to the homeless every morning. I can't get them. Can't find them.
Supply and demand, just making things that you wouldn't think of.
I can get little bitty 8-ounce cups, or I can get 32-ounce cups, but I can't get the 12-ounce cups.
That sounds like a good cup of coffee.
I was going to say, they'll be good to go for the next
Sam's,
day.
Walmart, the dollar stores, Shamrock. We've checked all of them, and finally, Shamrock had some, but they were $115 a box.
Wow.
For 1,000. I used to pay $40 for that box. And so, some of those things that are making it a little more uncertain. One thing that has not really faltered, and that has been our support from the community. Our community has been wonderful, financial support, food support, which leads me to the next one, and that is our letter carriers food drive is coming up May 14th.
Yeah, so usually it's in May time frame here.
Yeah, it's the second Saturday in May.
Good deal.
So Saturday, May 14th, so you get cards in the mail, and if you don't, send them out anyway. So
that day, just put a bag of non-perishables out there at your food box or your little box condos, if you got those, or mailbox condos or whatever it is.
So some people who only get mail at their post office box may not get a card. So and they won't know about it. But some of the rural routes won't pick up, but all of the city routes will.
And I know if I remember in the past, for those folks that don't necessarily get mail delivery there, that when you go to pick up your mail at the post office, they do have a box set up for you to drop off food and things there. So
we'll have a bin there just inside the door of the post office.
Yeah, so even if you just whatever reason don't feel comfortable leaving it out your mailbox, you can always drop it off there at the post office too. So. So May 14th, Saturday, put out some groceries. The letter carriers will pick it up. And this is really this National Food Drive is the biggest one of the year for all of us. And I will also, we've had this conversation, we're getting into the lean months as far as donations go generally.
We are.
Summer months.
Summer drops off.
Are generally the quiet times for donations. Believe it or not, when the kids are in school, that's where most of the food and blood drives and all those things happen, is when kids are in school. So we're about to get lean here as far as donations go. So if you can step up the game during the mail carriers here or make a plan throughout the summer to continue to contribute, these would be very helpful things. So.
One other thing, we've got 1,000 starter vegetables. We do this every spring.
Okay.
And so we had the youth group from Waymaker did a lot of it. We had some students from the university come out, and they put the cartons together. And then we had the children's ministry from Christ Church do several hundred. So
nice.
We got 1,000 little plants that we'll be passing out to our clients starting next week. And we've been watering them. They look beautiful.
Nice.
And so we're not only giving them food, but giving them a way to grow some of their own food.
Yeah.
And every year we get wonderful reports back of how they're giving all their neighbors squash and tomatoes.
How
and that
cool
sort
is
of
that?
Thing. Yeah. So that's the other thing. And one other thing, we have the Bottomless Lakes Triathlon.
Okay.
Coming up.
The triathlon never ends. You just keep running forever.
It never.
It's called life.
July 9th, and actually Pastor Joel has run that couple of times or just once?
I ran it once, mostly thankful that I didn't drown. I survived the rest, but I didn't drown. That was my biggest win that day.
So anyway, that's what we've got going on at Harvest. A lot of great things.
Good deal.
But if you want to volunteer, come on out and check it out. You'll love it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
it is a great event.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Come by, of course, Harvest Ministries right here on Main Street. What's the hours that the building's open over here?
So we're open from 8 until about 2. Mm-hmm. We're open for distribution from 9:30 to 12.
Okay.
And we're open for breakfast from 8 to 10.
Okay. So if you really come by any time during those hours to say, hey, I like to volunteer, get involved, there'll be someone there that you can talk to and learn more about doing any of that.
Right.
But it's right here downtown.
Right.
What's the actual address number?
601 North Main.
601 North Main. You can't miss it. That's your home for everything there. Let's get the update on the Homeless Coalition here. I know we kind of been bleeding that line together a little bit with Homeless and Harvest, but because at the end of the day, the mission statement's the same, even though each has their specific task, but they both do chew a lot of the same dirt. So, let's get an update on how's as far as helping and volunteers and getting materials and everything for the coalition. How is that going?
You know what? We are definitely in a season of traction.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of great things that are going on. We had a leadership transition at the end of the year. With our director position.
Okay.
But one of the coolest things is our current director is Erica Boggs. She actually came through our program, kind of became a second-hand man to our previous director, her and her husband started their own church.
So they got a unique insight that they, So they could probably give a lot of perspective on the experience.
Absolutely. Well,
what they do.
Her story was actually part of when they moved here. It was literally the next couple of weeks that COVID lockdowns happened.
Oh, wow.
And her plan to go to nursing school and all kinds of other things just fell through, and she found herself in a position of need. And so we had some family rooms. We were able to take them in. She had 4 kids. And so it's been a really cool success story. Now she's helping to lead the organization, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
What an example. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And just a couple quick stats, actually. Just in the last 2 months, so between February and March, we've actually helped to transition 12 people off the streets back into housing and working.
That's amazing. Remember we were talking about how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? That's exactly what we're talking about here. 12 people right now have got their lives turned around in the last month because of the Home Coalition. That's every time there's one, that's a huge success, and that justifies the reason why it's here.
Well,
I
in
like
January,
what you just said there. You called it the Home Coalition. So
oh, did I?
It is the Homeless Coalition, but our goal is to get it.
You know what? Maybe a happy accident here. I think we should just change the name and we'll call it the Coalition to get homes for people. The Home Coalition.
Yeah. Well, and so even with that though, I know that in January we actually had several as well. So at this point, just in this calendar year, I didn't have the exact number for January, but at this point in the calendar year, we're probably actually over 20 individuals that we've been able to get off the streets, working, either reconnect with family, transition into other programs. So some of the amazing things, community support is increasing. We have various organizations like Pioneer Bank, individuals that come and they're helping to cook meals. Donations have been rolling in from various organizations, churches, partnerships with Eastern New Mexico University, some of their students. So it's been a really good time. Also, we have a thrift store. For those that don't know, we were able to
get that started.
This last year or in 2020. It's all blurring together now because of COVID. But it's at 221 East Wildy.
Okay. Is it work kind of similar like the Refuge thrift store where some of your folks use it to get what they need and things, and then what's left over we sell to the public, deeply discounted. That money goes back to help the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. So if we have those that are in our shelters, if our homes need something and we're able to utilize it, we will. But even with that, lately we've had so many donations from people, whether it's a new freezer or we just had a local church donate 2 stackable sets of washers and dryers for our women's home, and so it's been a beautiful thing. But yeah, the thrift store though basically when you drop off your supplies are after we cover just essential costs of staff and keeping the building open. 100% of it goes back into operations. So it's been great.
As far as donations and things, if it's large donations, probably recommend calling ahead and all that to make arrangements. If it's like furniture or something,
the best
thing
thing
takes up some space.
Yeah, the best thing to donate is furniture and those types of items. One thing that we get constantly overwhelmed with, and I'm sure it's not us, but every other thrift store, secondhand store in town, is clothing.
Yeah.
And that's, we don't have enough. That's another thing for volunteers. We would certainly could use some volunteers as well.
Sure.
To help go through some of those things.
But I would also say this: if the clothing you want to donate is something you wouldn't wear because it's so worn out, no one else does either. Go ahead and just throw that away. You actually cost the people you're helping more money when you donate, in essence, trash, because now they got to pay to have that taken to the dump and everything else. So
it is costly.
Yeah. So you're actually doing more harm than good for the nonprofit by doing so. Same thing with it, because I know the Humane Society says all the time, like, please don't bring us this stuff because now we got to pay to take it, and it costs us money instead of making money. So when it comes to clothes, make sure it's clean, serviceable. If it's something that you would wear if you could, or whatever, then donate that.
Yeah, there's certain clothes that I would have to donate. You said if you could wear that.
Well, I get it.
I might have got stung by a bee or something, and a little swelling.
Yeah, I understand. And then you get it. Oh, well, I'm going to get back to that, so I'm going to keep it in the closet. We never do.
Yeah, I literally have a box in my barn that says Mark's Skinny Jeans that I'm hoping to get into someday.
Yeah.
See, my joke is that I can make regular jeans look like skinny jeans. To each his own.
The jeans are all crying by the time I get a leg in them. So.
Thank goodness for stretch fabric.
But definitely consider that a little bit. So, yeah, I understand. That's something I think all thrift stores really have an issue dealing with is clothing, and don't get me wrong, that clothing is greatly appreciated. I don't know how many folks, I'm especially business clothes, suits, dresses, those kinds of clothes, because generally that's not the kind of stuff they have, but they're going to need it to get job interviews and things like that, and we've all tried to buy dress clothes or business clothes, and that's you can easily spend an arm and a leg on that.
As a church, we'll go down because we do street ministry and outreach, and one of our go-to places actually is the thrift store, and we're purchasing coats and blankets. If they have beanies or gloves, things like that, we'll pick up a lot of those things, and then of course because it helps us cost-wise to not purchase everything brand new. Just because it's treated pretty roughly most of the time, but it actually enables us to be able to go and blesses the coalition at the same time.
If I was like if you're a new married couple starting out or something like that, forget going to box stores and catalogs and online and stuff. Go to thrift stores. You could buy all your small appliances and furniture, and most of it's great shape and everything else, and you pay pennies on the dollar. So you just furnished your home for a couple $100 instead of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And I don't care what married couple out there, you never have two nickels to rub together when you're married. You're living off love at that point. Ramen and love.
And eventually you're not going to love ramen.
But so don't spend a bunch of money on toasters and coffee pots. Or go to the thrift stores and help these great nonprofits, and you paid $10 for a coffee pot.
I might mention too, our director there is Joy Peralta.
Okay.
She does an amazing job.
She's wonderful.
That thrift store has been such a blessing to us. Actually, it was the hospital auxiliary thrift store.
Okay.
And they literally donated it to the Homeless Coalition.
Yeah.
And it's been a great blessing. It's been a
real
big source,
steady
source of our income. Yeah.
Well, and not only has that been a blessing, also RPM Plumbing was really gave us an amazing gift that they had a service vehicle was a small box truck.
Oh, so you can go do or pick up and delivery.
Yeah. Now with that, we try to do our best to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it depends on staffing. The good news is that a lot of our guys are working, and so when they're not actively employed somewhere, part of their responsibility then is to help at the thrift store, because all the resources we give are at no cost to the individuals. We are 100% donor funded, and the people that come in,
they had money for it, they probably wouldn't be there in the first place.
Right. And so with that though, if the guys are available, we'll be able to run out and do some things. But yeah, so that the pickup for things like that is always good to call. Joy's great about trying to schedule pickups if possible, and it's super helpful. So huge thanks to RPM for donating that truck as well. We actually just got it wrapped as well, so if you see it cruising around town,
still honk and wave.
Yeah, honk, wave, and then come drop your donation.
Yeah, and then put some stuff in the back of it and say, here, this is for the thrift store. But so please come shop, come donate, and I'm telling you,
and
young
come
folks,
serve.
And come serve. That's another thing. That's if you'd love to that's the thing too. If you want to help out at the Harvest Ministries Homeless Coalition, whether it's stocking the shelves or going out to the camps and ministering or helping any way you can out there, more people are definitely needed for all those things.
Well, and for people that may be listening, often we wonder, I think within our own context, that with the time we have or the skills we have, does it really matter? When you take the big picture, if you go to the 40,000-foot view flying in the plane, and every person is doing a small thing, and not always just giving or monetary things, those are obviously critical.
Sure.
But when you take those little individuals and those little moments and you put those together, it allows people to accomplish a mission together.
Absolutely.
And so don't think that a few hours here and there is too small. Every bit of it matters, both for Harvest.
And I'll tell you, you've probably done a bunch by going out and doing these things, even though the recognition or understanding of what you've done is not as apparent or obvious to you right then. It's kind of like I always compare like kids, like when they talk about big brothers, big sisters, and talking about the young kids, and kids kind of hide their, like if they don't know you, they'll kind of keep their emotions on their sleeve. They're kind of under a vest there. They're really. But they're like, I don't know if they had a good time. And then they go back and say, oh, man, they were raving about a good time. They just didn't tell it to you. I think some of the folks you're dealing with are the same way. They're not going to outwardly tell you you're helping them, but that little bit helped them. And even though you don't feel it that way, you're making a great impact there, even if you don't see it directly. And eventually you're going to, because it's wearing away. But, I mean, every one of those little acts, even if it doesn't, give you this reward, you're thinking that you're going to get this big moment of, and everyone's going to be happy. No, it's none of that there. But those little things, just giving that sandwich here, just making sure someone's got clothing for the night or a place to stay for the night. Those things build up, and years later, when that person's back on their right path, they're going to think of those moments you did, and those would be the moments that turn their life back to being to where they want it to be.
Well, you'll actually figure out with ministries like ours that at the end of the day, accolades are not what you seek. The reward you get is actually serving.
Yeah.
There's something more about that. When you serve others, you have to realize, okay, we're both pastors. We're created to serve each other. We're created to serve others. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, that the deep, most fulfilling need that all of us have, aside from Christ, is to serve. And when we serve, there's something inside that's unlocked that helps in ways that I don't think that people realize. When we're just running our lives about ourselves, just trying to do things our own way, typically it's not going to be as fulfilling. But when you serve others, you're going to have a fulfilled life.
Absolutely. So. I just saw the time, and we got one more big thing we definitely want to put on people's radar. Make sure you attend here. National Day of Prayer.
Yes.
We're about a week away here, I guess. What's today's 20th? It's
it's on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, May 5th.
Yes.
May 5th will be National Day of Prayer, 12 noon, out at the Chavez County Courthouse lawn as tradition there. But again, we invite come out for an hour. It lasts an hour, and it's an hour of going to be pastors praying, community leaders speaking, what we come to expect from our National Day of Prayer. Love to have you come out, and if you're able to, come out to the courthouse lawn and spend the hour with us. If you can't, because work doesn't let you, or you're out of town, obviously National Day of Prayer is we all want you to pray together that day and remind prayer. So wherever you're at, prayer. But if you can, we'd love to have you join us out on the courthouse lawn here on May 5th, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, Pastor Joel's coordinated this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's on tap for this year's National Day of Prayer?
You pretty much nailed it.
Okay.
We've kept some of the flow from Pastor Mark. Of course, he's so instrumental in helping to do some of the different parts and permits and things like that. But yeah, exactly that. At noon, County Courthouse, we're going to be just spending some time in worship and in prayer, and different leaders and pastors will be praying, and prayer is a powerful thing.
Absolutely.
So
maybe pick that day if you haven't had some of the downtown restaurants for lunch or anything, or maybe some of the food trucks that kind of hang here. Get maybe there at 11:30, go have a little lunch or something, and then meander on over to the courthouse at noon and celebrate prayer and God with us for it. It takes an hour. Obviously, if you can't be there the whole hour, and you can only be there half or what, whatever time you can spend with us, we'd love to have you spend.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, prayer is certainly important. We don't just simply believe that prayer changes things. We know prayer changes things, and we see it all the time in people's lives, in their homes, and in their stories. And so it's especially if you're a believer out there, and for prayer, we're better when we pray together. And it's
strength
important.
in numbers, and when we're all on the same page praying, I imagine that's a pretty powerful message we're sending to God when we do that.
And I think it's a beautiful thing when all of our, we've all got different churches, different denominations, and we believe the same but a little bit different. But this one day we all come together, and prayer does make a difference, because it's not just the prayer, it's the God that we're praying to who makes a difference. And also every year I have said, so I started coordinating this back in 2003, shortly after we moved here in 2002. And every year I've said this year is the most critical year ever. We need prayer. We need God's intervention more than ever before. And I will say it again this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need God's intervention more than ever before.
Absolutely.
So if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, God says he will hear from heaven. So that's what we want to happen. We
May 5th the day.
We want a portal to be opened over the courthouse, and not only for us, but for everybody. We'll be joining our prayers with tens of thousands of other people around the nation and really around the world. So
we are a world that can use as much prayer as possible right now. Now more so than ever, with going on all over the globe right now. We need to come together as Christians and pray and thank God for our blessings, but pray for strength to guide us through our next toils and tribulations here. So
it's the most critical hour ever to just live it out.
Absolutely.
Don't have it in title, be the real deal.
Absolutely.
Go out there, pray, serve, go. It's important.
That's kind of what I've always been, as I got to wrap this up, but as the last 3 years have been probably confusing for a lot of people as far as things that they think is right, questioning, you know what I mean? It's just been a lot of that. And I the two things, God and my values of my family, my parents, it's like what God's doing and, what my parents taught me is right and from wrong. I go back to basics. I'm like, look, helping this person, doing this thing, those are never wrong things. Even in the world where they're trying to make every decision confusing, it feels like. Doing the right thing, I've never had a problem or a lot of recourse bad from doing that. So,
well, if you'll seek the truth, you'll find it. I can tell that the truth is in the Word, and if you'll seek the Word, it'll change everything.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely, folks, if you want more about anything we talked about, don't forget the Roswell Homeless Coalition and Harvest Ministries both have a Facebook page. You can reach out to those, shoot a message if you have any questions or want to volunteer or just want to get involved in anything we talked about here. And, of course, you can also, when you come on out to National Day of Prayer on the 5th next week, if you see Mark or Joel or any of the pastors out there, give them a holler, talk to them. They'll love to tell you more about any of the things we talked about here.
Absolutely. You can also go to RoswellHomelessCoalition.com.
There you go.
If you'd like to be able to donate monetarily.
There's a direct link there to
same
do
thing
that.
for Harvest Ministries.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if you want to donate, cut some big checks there, that'd be a great way to help out.
Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
We'll see you next time. And don't work too hard. I know you serve, but take a break for yourselves, too, every once in a while. So appreciate you guys. All right, it is 7:57. Let's do a quick commercial break before news. Don't go away.
Your ride is broke, needs a fix? Come on down, we'll take care of it quick at Big O. Big O Tires. Whatever the problem, we'll ease your fears. We got experience, nearly 60 years at Big O. Big O Tires.
With nearly 60 years of experience and high customer ratings, you can always count on your local Big O Tires to give you quality products and trustworthy service, all for a low price. Come in now through May 8th and save between $70 and $100 on select sets of Bridgestone, Firestone, and Pirelli brand tires. Plus, receive free basic installation. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price not to exceed $35 where permitted. See store for rebate and installation details.
The weather is heating up. Time for new beginnings and time to get a new vehicle for you and your family. Richland Chevy Buick GMC and Richland Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram both have amazing spring deals on both new and pre-owned vehicles. You'll find a huge inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles. Or better yet, customize your new vehicle. Order it today and build the vehicle of your dreams. Right now, Richland is offering top dollar for your trade. And with the Richland Brand Champion Program, you can ride with confidence knowing you are taken care of long after the sale. Ride for the brand that rides for you. Richland, where service is always job one.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 7% of American adults, roughly 16.4 million Americans, believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. We don't know if they asked them where strawberry milk comes from. Here's Mike Winters. Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The U.S. economy stumbled in the first quarter with the gross domestic product shrinking at a 1.4% annual rate. Took the experts by surprise. They'd been expecting a 1% gain in the GDP. Saying what a lot of his fellow Republicans were probably thinking, and perhaps even some Democrats too, Texas Congressman Michael McCall telling Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas,
I would have to say that I've never seen the border more broken. It is not under operational control. It is out of control.
McCall at yesterday's Capitol Hill hearing responding to Mayorkas' vow that we will not lose operational control of the border. Mayorkas back on Capitol Hill today for more testimony. On the heels of his visit to Russia, the UN Secretary General has arrived in Ukraine, where he'll meet with President Zelensky. The BBC's Joe Inwood.
No one is seriously expecting this visit to bring peace to Ukraine, but it's hoped Antonio Guterres might find a solution to one of its most difficult problems. There are hundreds of civilians and Ukrainian fighters still trapped in the giant Azovstal steel plant in the besieged city of Mariupol. Repeated efforts to create a humanitarian corridor have failed. The United Nations Secretary General says he will try to change that. He told journalists that finding a solution was particularly difficult, as we are not dealing with people who are in their homes or in public places, but inside a bunker in truly dramatic conditions.
Prosecutors in Wisconsin say he's 14 years old, the suspect arrested in last week's exceedingly violent murder of 10-year-old Lily Peters. Bond has been set at $1 million. The suspect, to be tried in adult court, faces a possibility of life in prison if convicted. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher right now. The Dow is up 93 points, the Nasdaq 61 points higher, and the S&P is better by 23. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
It's a midterm election year, something that's not lost on members of Congress.
House Republicans spent an hour speaking out against the policies of the White House and Democrats in Congress. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee spoke about rising inflation.
Prices for goods and services Americans rely on rose by 8.5% in March 2022 compared to March 2021.
Congressman Fred Keller of Pennsylvania spoke about energy policy.
President Biden has thrust our nation into energy crisis by tying the hands of America's energy producers.
Others spoke about foreign policy and mask mandates. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
A South Korean activist says he launched 1 million propaganda leaflets by balloon into North Korea this week in his first such campaign while standing trial for past leafleting under a contentious new South Korean law that criminalizes such action. The law took effect in March of 2020. 21. News and analysis at townhall.com. One Asian country taking some drastic steps aimed at coping with its worsening financial situation.
Nepal is banning imports of cars, alcohol, tobacco, and cutting its work week to cope with the shortage of foreign exchange. The Himalayan country says imports of all cars except for emergency vehicles, all types of alcohol, big motorcycles, expensive mobile phones, toys, and diamonds are being banned until the end of the fiscal year in July. Nepal's been running low on foreign currency reserves needed to import almost everything. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
Falling by 5,000 first-time jobless claims, settling in at 180,000 last week, meeting economists' expectations. Chinese telecom equipment and smartphone maker Huawei sales dropped 14% in the first quarter from 1 year earlier. The decline came as the company grapples with U.S.-imposed sanctions on its products. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
They call it the deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Like Bill Mooney? Maybe that's like all I could think. Like one of the people from... I'm sorry, this is off topic. Like, I don't understand. Okay. I've just been to the Roswell one and I've seen how little they were able to get.
Look. Maybe it's a backup triple.
Okay.
Shatner's like fourth toupee.
Pull back of the curtain. Apparently they're throwing a Comic-Con in Artesia coming up here very soon.
He was wondering what the celebrities would be.
Who are you going to get to show up to an Artesia Comic-Con? I feel like we can say this because they can't get our frequency in Artesia. So yeah, shots fired.
They do listen.
Yeah, sometimes.
I did a show for 8 years there, and I got fans.
But the one person I'm worried about listening there is doing his show right now, so we're fine.
You might air check me.
Yeah, you might. I forgot they can always go back and listen to this or any portion of this show today at ksvptv.com.
Sean, cover of tracks. Well, happy Wednesday or Thursday, actually.
Yes.
I was trying to get you a day behind there.
I find it's best to walk with a broom right behind you, so it just kind of sweeps your tracks as you go.
That's as all good curling fans do. The broom's supposed to be in the front, but
I am the biggest curling fan.
He is. Matter of fact, his youngest kid's middle name's Curly, just for curling.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Stooges.
Hunter Curly Smalls.
So is his daughter. They're both curly.
It's weird. It was a hard sell to their mom, but well, we got it through.
That's right.
We pushed it through.
Weirdly enough, straight hair. That's.
It was ironic.
Yeah. It's
we did it ironically.
It's like calling big people tiny.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. So
it's literally the reason I started my career in radio, calling myself Shorty Smalls.
Exactly. See?
Nobody understands irony.
Yeah. And then you went and lost weight, so
Yeah,
now
now
it really
it's sort
doesn't
of-
make sense.
Yeah.
So
The shrinking of smalls. Yeah. But if it's any consolation, I'm re-embiggening myself.
For the good of the name?
For the good of for the good of my waistline. I just have noticed that, the shirts are getting a little tighter.
Yeah. It's just the season.
Getting ready for Fat Daddy Summer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, I think I probably should start using that gym membership I've been paying for.
Maybe I should go visit the
I've been, it's an annual membership.
And you go
I'm on a
annually,
2-year
whether you
plan.
need to or not.
I'm on a 2-year plan. And I've been twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's probably 2 more than a lot of people have gone
I was
with their
at
gym
the
membership.
beginning of the membership. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's 1 more than most people go to their membership because they go to the first time.
Right.
And then it's like, yeah, they get gung-ho, and then it's all gone the next morning when they wake
This is how
up.
long I've been doing this deal. Okay, so I signed up for celebrate the new year 2021. We'll lock in the deal of $20.21 for 2 years. Yeah, so I'm doing that.
Yeah, and you've been twice.
Yeah,
nice.
So technically, it's $10.
So you're paying how much a month?
2021.
2021 a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get over there. At least
I should do something.
At least hang out in the saunas or
Yeah.
something. Do something.
Right. Darken the doorstep. It's just I don't like gym smell. I've never liked gym smell. I don't.
Who does?
I don't know, but there's people that do.
Really?
Yeah,
It's kind of gross.
I don't know, the smell of mats or whatever.
BO.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's BO and like sports drinks.
No, it's, you know what it is?
What?
It's mass. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's gains. That's what it is. Gains.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to do that thing where I can make my chest dance. Like, I just want to be able to do that thing.
Oh, the pec.
Yeah.
Well, guess if you bench press enough, eventually you'll get there.
Do a couple of those.
There you go. Oh, a couple of those squats and do some of them. Work on the metatarsal and the.
No, I'm going to be that guy who's limping on the treadmill.
Or be that one that's running really, really fast to try to, because you can't turn it down.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
There was some guy was on a elliptical, and it was like a TikTok video or something, and he was playing around on it, but it was weird the way he was. It was quite entertaining because he's on the elliptical. You know, that's one where it's got the feet thing, and but he's like dancing on it, and so it's like his head wasn't moving while the rest of him was moving, and it was weird. Like his whole body's going up and down the elliptical, but his head's like in the same spot.
That's odd.
It was very weird. It
takes a lot of practice.
It was mesmerizing. I'm staring at it like longer than I entirely should.
This is
trying to figure out what's going on there.
Satisfying.
It was. I'm like, how's his head not moving?
Dude, it's amazing what I will sit and actually after about a minute of watching it realize you just sat for a minute and watched this. Like
I've done many a time.
There's like I think it's like a full maybe 3-minute video of a full detailing of a car, like starting with the wheels, they spray the foam on it, and it's sped up. But then you just see the foam get sprayed off, and they like unscrew the seats, and then they go through and they like magic eraser them.
Yeah.
But they basically take this car and make it look brand new.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly satisfying. But
Yeah.
I for like a full 2 minutes have sat and watched that.
You know the ones that reel me in that I hate, and and it's never satisfying. It's when I get like these, and it's usually.
I almost know exactly where you're going.
It's usually like crafty housewives.
Oh, okay.
And they'll have they'll make shirts or something, or make and they wrap me in as like ooh, that looks interesting, and I'm thinking it's going to get interesting, and then at the end it never is. I'm like, I just watched you make 10 minutes of a video making squiggly lines on a T-shirt.
Facebook videos
I thought it'd be better.
Are the worst. Have you ever like sat through a Facebook video?
Some, yes.
I've been looped into a couple where it's like a prank or whatever. But you look at the runtime, it's like 16 minutes and 51 seconds. And it's like because they're him-hawing around because they're trying to knock up their runtime or whatever. You jump to the end, it's not even a satisfying giveaway. And then you go to the comments like fake. It's like just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Facebook videos are the absolute worst.
I got roped into a couple of those, but yeah.
TikTok, I will say Vine and TikTok have severely damaged. I don't know about the nation's attention span, but definitely mine.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not getting something good out of the first minute of this, I've wasted my time.
That's true. Yeah. When it comes to online video viewing, Yeah, I want the payoff in like a minute or less, and then I'm out. You know, I mean, I'm not
just here for the dopamine hit, boss.
That's right. But the problem is, then people watch that, and then that's like gospel. They take it as gospel, and how did you learn about this? A meme on Facebook. I based all of my knowledge on memes on Facebook. So
I function off of life hacks.
Yeah. So. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. Then here in a little bit, we're going to have Donwell join us with Friends of Bitter Lake. That's the hat he's wearing today. We may have Steve Alvarez with Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge join us as well. We'll get an update of what's happening out at Bitter Lake. Of course, Earth Day just happened. They had some conservation projects and things going on out there. And so we'll talk about that and talk about what they've got coming up, too. So
very good.
And then, of course, later on this hour, we'll get you up to date with local news along with your Wall Street Town Hall business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess we'll take a look at that weather. We got another red flag warning. It's supposed to be hot. All that today. 94.
Ugh.
94 is our high today.
Really?
Yeah.
In April.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Summer's going to suck, dude. That's all I'm saying. Summer's going to suck.
It's going to be hot. All right, it's 8:15. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the high country, and we have low pressure off to our east, and that means gusty wind today, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Very warm with our afternoon high in the low 90s, and we'll be getting a lot of sunshine. Breezy and clear for the overnight hours with low 50s, and then close to the 90-degree mark again on Friday. Windy and sunny, 80s and fair for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 59 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 62%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Today we do have a red flag warning that will kick in at 10 a.m. this morning and remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. That's because it's going to be warm and windy. Sunny, highs near 94 today. Winds will be out of the south. 5 to 10 this morning, but 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Tonight, skies will be clear with an overnight low of 53 degrees. Winds will be breezy out of the southwest, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. We will see a dip in the winds down 10 to 15 after midnight tonight. Friday, going to linger in the 90s here. 91 and sunny for your high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the west, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then looking at your weekend, Saturday, sunny, 85, north winds 5 to 15. Dang, that might be a beautifully perfect day on Saturday. I kind of digging that. And then sunny and breezy on Sunday with a high right around 91 degrees. All right, it is 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take about a 2-minute commercial break here, and then we'll talk Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509. Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Brew at the Zoo is back for 2022. Come and tap into a worthy cause. Happening 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. April 30th at the Spring River Zoo. Enjoy great food, an art auction, live music, entertainment, and games, and some of the best ice-cold craft beer around. A $40 ticket gets you 15 samples and the 2022 Friends of the Zoo glass. Designated driver tickets are only $25 and come with water, tea, or soft drinks. Early bird pricing is now available through April 16th for only $30. Proceeds go towards exhibits, enclosures, and enrichment for the animals. Get your tickets now for a good time and a worthy cause at friendsofspringriverzoo.org. Crack the vault and save this month at Roswell Honda with an amazing selection of vehicles priced to move so you don't have to break the bank. Like a 2016 Audi A3 for just $211 a month, a 2014 Chrysler Town & Country for just $181 a month, or a 2010 Honda Odyssey for just $161 a month. Get a 12-pack of soda and a trip to Mexico just for stopping by, a $15 gas gift card with a test drive, and a car detailing kit with purchase. And crack the code for your chance to win cash all month long at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. During your lifetime, you'll produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. Spit out this bit of information at your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning he's actually a member of the Friends of the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, Don Weld with us. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Mike. How you doing today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Good deal, man, who wears many hats, by the way. You're like, hey, sounds familiar. Yeah, you probably heard him from American Legion or Alzheimer's Association. He's involved in
Friends of the Zoo.
Friends of the Zoo. He's involved in many things here.
Yeah,
but today wearing our Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge hat here.
Yeah.
So
I even got my volunteer
official hat here.
Yeah.
Nice. Of course, I know Earth Day was last week here, and I know that's probably you guys had a busy day out at Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge
last Saturday,
doing service projects and some conservation efforts going on out there.
Right.
It sounds like I heard a bunch of volunteers came out. It sounds like
we did.
Got a lot done.
We want to give a shout out to all those volunteers that came out and helped us.
Good.
We had a really nice crowd of people out there. Got a lot of stuff cleaned up, made it look really nice.
Yeah.
Still got a few things that there's always
projects to be done. Yeah,
always
they never
something.
end.
But we did, that really helped, and thank you everybody that came out. So
and it's kind of been in the world of COVID here. Bitter Lake's really kind of used that time to kind of do some work to the amenities to some of the buildings and facilities and things out there that folks use out there.
There's a bird blind that was in disuse. We shut it down, not so much because of the blind itself, but because of the trail that gets there.
Gotcha.
It was all torn up. It was a mess.
It just wasn't safe for people to go up and down that trail.
And especially as you walk down that trail, then you'd have to go up this ramp to get into the bird blind, the stairs and stuff. That was it was old, rickety. They tore all of that out. We've completely replaced it. It's completely handicap accessible.
Nice.
So you can get your wheelchair all the way down, and motorized ones even.
Oh, good.
Can go all the way down, go up to the bird blind and observe. That bird blind is really nice.
Nice.
Got a lot of stuff in it.
Will that be kind of the home for when cranes and cocoa happen here in the fall, or is that done on a different part of the...
Actually, the cranes go farther down.
Okay, so you can't sit there. Won't be much of a show there.
Yeah, they're a little farther south.
Okay.
And we let them... We try to give them their space pretty much.
Gotcha.
A lot of them like to go up to what is the actual Bitter Lake.
Okay.
What you see when you go on your drive around there, what you're seeing is some ponding areas.
Okay.
And that's the overflow from Bitter Lake and the wells and artesian wells and such.
Okay.
So all of that works its way down, and a lot of the cranes like to stay down at the far end.
Okay.
The south end, but a number of them still go up to the actual Bitter Lake.
Okay.
Which is, I wanted to say unfortunately, but that's not true. We try to keep that cleaned up and pristine.
Sure.
For the wildlife.
Yeah.
So we can't.
Not a lot of human contact out there. I mean, there's there's some as needed, but
Sure.
we don't really let the public just kind of voyage out there. When there is trips out there, it's a very
controlled
experience there.
Yeah,
But on occasion, those do happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that one of the perks of being a member. We're
Of being a
setting up-
friend.
a friend of the member, or a member of the friends, a friend of the members, a member of the friends,
Friend of a friend, friend of a member of a friend of mine.
Yeah. Being a member of the friends, we're setting up some tour dates for members. And we're going to have to work this out. We haven't got the details on it yet, but we'd like to get set up where we can take members onto these back roads and let them see some of the back areas.
Peel back the curtain a little bit of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge.
So you can, and we do some of that at the Dragonfly Festival.
Mm-hmm.
We do our tours.
Yeah, those tours get access to places that the general public doesn't always get to be a part of.
That's right.
At the refuge there.
So we really enjoyed that.
And this is, if you like to be a friend, and this is something, being a friend of Bitter Lake is this is without the friends, this park or this refuge wouldn't be able to do what it does. It's
right.
We talk about bottomless lakes, and that's the place where you go for your camping and picnicking and all that fun. Bitter Lake is that place where, yes, we want the public to come and enjoy it, but it's really showing you the natural habitat, the ecosystem.
That's right.
It's not about camping and fishing and backpacking. It's about, let's see the wildlife and the habitat of southeast New Mexico, and let's see some of the native animals and plants that call this region home. And it is a reserve for them. It's the place for them. We're just visitors watching it, and that's
right.
That's the mindset of Bitter Lake versus Bottomless Lake. So becoming a friend of Bitter Lake, we want people that care about the wildlife and things and want to help to preserve and to protect and to help it thrive. And so as a friend of Bitter Lake, you're going to be doing service project, conservation project. So if you love, digging in the dirt and doing that kind of stuff, and your spouse is tired of you doing it at your house, maybe you can come on and do it out at Bitter Lake.
Go.
You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many holes you can dig up in our front yard. Let's go work at Bitter Lake. Where you can do it there here. But so that's really what you're needed. And of course, obviously, you're the volunteers and things like when we have Dragonfly Festival. You're the friends are kind of the glue that keeps everything going together.
That's
and
right.
keeping the weekend going and all that kind of stuff. But so if you love being outdoors, you love to see the wildlife, the butterflies, the birds, the dragonflies, all the different animals that call the Bitter Lake home and want to help protect that, then I encourage you to come out and be a friend. Come be a friend of Bitter
Definitely.
Lake. Come get involved, and even if you're not necessarily, maybe you're not in that side, but maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you're those kind of skills can help serve as well on the legal side and the less sexy side of being a volunteer.
Very, very good point, because we need people to come out and not only become members, but we need some people on our board of directors.
Help make decisions.
Yes, we have some vacant spots, and we will very much like to have people come out, especially somebody who can help us in the secretarial part.
Okay. So someone's got some administrative, office skills, management, some experts in that area. We could use your services to help.
Sure can.
Guide on the board here of directors for Bitter Lake, Friends of Bitter Lake. Yeah.
And we'd also like to get somebody with some computer background that might know how to use not Quicken. What's the other
Excel?
one? QuickBooks.
QuickBooks. Okay.
Yeah, we do our financials on a QuickBooks.
Okay.
And the person who does that now would like to back off.
Gotcha. She's ready to step down.
She's ready to step down.
So need another treasurer or someone
somebody who can step in and take over her, because it's all on QuickBooks. So it'd be if you know QuickBooks, it'd be a snap.
You're just reading the
Step
numbers
right
at that
in.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's someone listening that'd like to volunteer their time doing that, great way to support the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. And oh, by the way, history buffs too. That's something always. I mean, we
yes.
talk about nature and stuff, but there's as much human history out there as there is nature stuff. With the Native Americans and their hunting trail or hunting grounds and things that were out there.
Yep.
There's so much human history, as much as human history as there's natural history out there, and so we love. So if you're a history buff, there's equal amount of fun stuff, and that's the great part. Unfortunately, we don't have Steve here with us today. He's the guy you want to pick his brain.
He would
and
know.
talk about
he knows
some
all
of
that stuff.
Some of what the Native Americans were doing with those grounds at the time, and how it's evolved, and the buffalo and all that stuff. He can tell you all about that side of Bitter Lake and all of that too.
All those cliffs to the east of us. Now, they didn't run the Native Americans. They didn't run the buffalo off the cliff. They ran them up against the cliff where they could get a good shot.
Yes. And they just put them in a box, basically.
Put them in a box so they could get the ones they wanted and then get the others out of the way.
Well, and this is the difference between what they were doing. They were taking as needed, and then, of course, the white man came in and
took everything.
We just clear-cutted all the buffalo. And so, but yes, they that was how the natives did that. They would... It's ingenious how they do it. They use the land to their advantage and try to and herd them like cattle, in essence, into a kill zone, basically. And then they pick apart the number they need for the season, and then their hunters would go down and gather and take them and leave the rest of the herd for next season.
Yep. We can still find the remains of buffalo that were killed out there. A
few bones, skeletons,
bones and stuff like that, and even some camping areas where the
occasional arrowhead and stuff turns up too, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
artifact and thing.
Then the cattle drives, they came up the Pecos.
So
they came right through
so
here.
The cowboys come right up through there too.
That's right. They used Bitter Lake. And that's where it got its name. The cowboys called it Bitter Lake because the water was so bitter.
Okay.
Well, it's a salty, mineral-y type water.
Okay.
So it would be a little bitter. It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
But,
not the best tasting.
Right.
Might add to your coffee.
Yeah.
Help the horseshoe float in the coffee there.
You got it. You got it. And they loved the cattle would drink it. It was all right with them.
And to be honest, that's Bitter Lake. And we joke. We've talked about this before. The Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge is kind of like the service station of southeast New Mexico for wildlife, and
you got it.
And in earlier days, and New Mexicans too.
Yeah.
It's because that's what really it is. We talk about the cranes, but all of those migratory birds that are going from Canada to south or vice versa, we're like south of the border for people that go on East Coast. When you're between North Carolina, where you go for all your fireworks and food and all that. Right. Bitter Lake's kind of like that for these animals.
That's right.
And so
we get the cranes, we get geese, Canada geese, and we get pelicans. We've actually seen pelicans come through here.
That's unique.
On their way north.
Okay.
Because I
figured they'd be sticking more coastal, but
mostly they do. But these come out of the Gulf.
Okay.
And they're headed up north, up to the Salt Lake area a lot.
Okay.
Because
that's
you
pretty
see
cool.
pelicans up there during the summer.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you get enough, because there isn't a big bodies of water between now and then where they
got to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
And then all the other, like you said, all the other migratory birds too. And that's what we were working on, this, what we call the Butterfly Trail.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a bird haven.
Okay.
They love coming in there because there's trees. We've got the tall ones for them to sit on. We got the lower bushes for them to hide in.
Sure. Probably plenty of food sources for them in
lots
there.
Lots of insects. We plant trees that produce a berry that they like.
Okay.
So that's all there. Plus the pond that we have has some fish. Oh, excuse me. That was good food.
That breakfast burrito tastes better the second time around.
But the pond has little fish in it.
Okay.
And some of the birds actually go in for the fish. But
nice.
Mostly that pond is there for the dragonflies.
Gotcha. That's where
they
the
lay
main...
the eggs. And the fish just love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's... But that's the cycle of life. The dragonflies try to hide their eggs, and the birds try to find them. That's right. That's Mother Nature.
So
that's
it
the
works
circle
out
of life.
real good.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of Dragonfly Festival, I want to mark people's calendars. I know it's on the other side of the summer here, but because the fact that we haven't really had a Dragonfly Festival in a couple years because of COVID, We want to. This one's going to be big, back, better,
Our
and
first
bigger.
full-blown one in, 3 years?
Yeah, and so mark September 10th. That's Saturday. That's going to be the main Dragonfly Festival day.
Right.
I'm guessing, like years past, there'll be some stuff that Friday the night.
Friday night, we're going to have a
tours at 11.
presentation.
Okay.
Friday evening. And the Astronomy Club will have their telescopes out there.
Cool.
To do a little stargazing.
Hopefully the weather will be clouds will be clear that night.
All too often we get cloudy that time, but we're hoping that we will have a clear night and we can do a little stargazing that night too.
Yeah, so please I know just kind of mark your calendars and plan to make. I will tell you this now, as soon as the tour dates and times and everything become available and you can start signing up for those, I will let you know, because I will tell you, even 3 years ago, last time we had those tours filled up relatively
really
quickly.
Quick.
They're free of charge and everything, but you got to sign up, and it's first come, first serve on times. But the good news is they have multiple times throughout the day Saturday. They even do a couple on Sunday to offer people. They do the early bird tour, I'm assuming, is going to be back, and then the Dragonfly tour, and then there's another tour, right? That they do
that's part of the early bird.
Okay.
What we try to do is get out there early enough that the animals are smarter than we are.
I don't doubt that at all.
They go out in the mornings and they eat and whatnot. And as that sun comes up and it gets warm, they find a place to hide and stay cool.
There's I'm down for the day.
Yeah, the sun goes down, or as it starts to go down, cool off, they come back out again and do their scrounging around and foraging. So your best times, if you're going to go out there, your best times is try and hit that gate in the morning when it opens, and it opens at sunrise.
Okay.
And you can go out onto the tour loop, and you sit out there, and you'll see small creatures, and we've got fox, we've got skunks, we've got deer that come through there.
Like all the hustle and bustle of the community opens up at that time.
They will be out there, and the birds will be out feeding.
That's cool.
And again, if you go out in the late afternoon. Now, remember, the gate closes at sunset.
Okay.
However, if you happen to be there...
And they close the gate on you?
And they close the gate, you can still get out.
Good. Yeah, you're not a guest for the night.
No. And in fact, the sheriff wouldn't want that.
No.
We have the sheriff of Bitter Lake out there, and he checks.
Make sure everyone's not hanging out when they're not supposed to be there and all that. But
he's a really good guy, but...
So in this case, the early bird really does get the worm. Maybe,
it does.
If you're going to plan your trip, even one weekend, going to get out and go see the get out there at sunrise. Make sure you're there at sunrise. Get up dark 30, get your breakfast burrito, and then make your way on out to Bitter Lake and be there when the sun comes up, and you can watch the basically the hustle and bustle of life at Bitter Lake when it's their busy time of the day.
That's right.
So, very cool.
And take a walk through the Butterfly Trail. It's not a long walk. It's you can go down by the main creek and then come back around and walk up by the pond. The major trail is just a straight line.
Okay.
A straight curvy line.
Straight-ish. It's got a few switchbacks here and there.
Right.
But, it's going in one direction.
We do that on purpose so that it provides a little privacy for the animals. And
sure.
such. But as you walk through there,
and if there's any kind of elevation, it mitigates that a little bit for folks too that switch back to.
Right. Yeah, because the bottom part out by the actual ponding areas and such, that is not handicap accessible. That is stairs.
Gotcha.
Maybe in the future we'll be able to modify that.
Well, but again, it's the tricky balance you're dealing with here. I'm sure that steps is less impactful on the environment there than creating a switchback trail would be. So, so you guys balance. All right, what's better for? And at the end of the day, you always lean what's better for the refuge, not what's better for people.
Right.
Because the goal is to provide the refuge a sanctuary for all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so, if it's conflicting with that goal, you're probably going to err against that. So.
Right. The main trail is completely accessible for wheelchair stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. And like you said, the new bird blind, or the rebuilt bird blind, I should say,
is now accessible.
Same way too here. So please utilize that and come and get out there and use that. Especially, I imagine, especially in the season changes. Like you said, even the cranes and everything are closer towards the Bitter Lake, but there's so many different migratory birds, and I don't know if we're a little late in the ball game for moving now, or are they right in the middle of heading?
The cranes are gone.
The cranes are. I didn't know if there's some birds that were still.
They leave around early to mid March.
Okay.
Is when because it's a long ways up there.
It is, yeah.
And they only, it's not like getting on a jet plane.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not.
They got to fly, 50 miles an hour or something.
It's a journey.
It is. This is one of several places. A lot of the cranes that go south, they stop here for a while, but then they go on down into Texas and down to the Gulf area.
Okay.
Now we do have not resident, but ones that stay here for the winter. And then they go back. But for the most part, the largest portion just goes on through.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe some of the geese that were farther north stop here while ones that were farther south keep going south, or I
don't know either.
Yeah,
but
I would wonder.
Be.
I wonder if it's something to do with that. It's like, well, these came from the northern part there, so they're going to be in the northern part of the South.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they can stand the cold a little better when we get chilly during the winter.
Yeah, maybe that's as logically as I could think of. There's a reason to do that.
Of course, they got to get up there. That's why they leave about March, because they got to get up there in time for the spring thaw. Because as soon as that thaws, they got to get down, get to business, and start making their eggs and so on.
Yeah.
So it's a rush.
Yeah. Did they do? And they do all that in the spring, right? I mean, as far as there's no like that when they come down for the warmer weather in the winter, they're not
no mating,
making a hatch or a batch of geese there.
At that time, they're bringing their young with them.
Okay. Is that where they're teaching them to be adult birds in the journey there?
Their first time. When they go back up that first year, the yearlings, so to speak, when they go back up, they may be ready. I don't know if they're ready for mating yet or not, but this is their first round trip, so they're learning the procedures.
They're learning the ropes.
Where's the food? Where's the water? Where do we stop?
Got their internal GPS going there to which that part that fascinates me. Like, how do they, How does their sense of direction work sometimes?
They got little satellites.
Yeah, you wonder. It's like is there one bird pulling a map out? It's like I knew we should have took a left at Albuquerque.
I often wondered that myself, but I don't know what their GPS.
I'm sure there's some kind of internal something that guides them. I have no idea.
They've been doing this for millions of years.
It's instinctual, or
it's
definitely
built in. Yeah, it's definitely built in.
Just curious, is it just imprinted in their brains when they're born? I'm just curious.
One of the birds we saw, when the garden club here in Roswell does some of the gardening, putting new gardens right around the nature store.
Okay,
they do a lot of that gardening area right there. They also came out and helped us with the butterfly trail, but
that's their baby right there.
Right. They had just put in some new flowering plants.
Okay.
No sooner did they get the plant in the ground, put the water on it, step back. Here comes 2 hummingbirds. I mean, boom,
they were waiting
right there. Yeah. Okay, you got it ready.
They're probably sitting over there. It's like how we sit here in town ooh, there's a Texas Roadhouse coming. They're probably over there. Ooh, look, some new flowers over there. They were flower groupies waiting for the restaurant to open up.
And I've had a hummingbird at my house now too. At least one, maybe 2.
Nice. Do you have some feeders out there?
I got a feeder. Yeah, one feeder that. Come to think of it, I got to change that up. It's almost empty.
Time to put some new sugar water in there.
Yeah, you got it.
By the way, that's a great thing to do with kids and family. If you're looking, get a hummingbird feeder and put them out in your backyard. And if you want to do a little kind of nature with your own kids and things, this is a great area to do that kind of stuff.
You got it.
You'll see hummingbirds and all. Maybe if you're more technically advanced, you could put a little GoPro or some kind of cam on it, and you could just kind of keep watching and catch some of the activity of the birds eating out of your hummingbird feeder and slow it down and watch you could have all kinds of fun with that.
I get all kinds of birds that come through my place. I've got a lot of feeders out there.
Gotcha.
And the hummingbird feeder is just one of them. I have 3 cats and 2 dogs. My cats love to watch the birds. Of course.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cats that's their television.
Yep. Yeah. And they get a real kick out of that. So it excites them.
Oh, yeah. You see their cackles get all up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But so far, I've been lucky enough that they're not going after the birds to any extraordinary extent. Anyway.
Once in a while, they kind of want to jump, but they don't have the abilities.
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
But please come out, come visit. The weather's getting nicer here. I'd love to have folks come and visit Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. Come visit also come to the nature store too if you want some great gift ideas for family. If you're looking for stuff for yourself, books on ecosystems of Roswell and various nature birds and things that we call this area home. You want to learn more about it, there's all kinds of information available at the gift
we
shop
even have
there.
some videos.
Good deal.
Little CD videos.
Okay.
That you can get.
Little DVDs or whatever you call them.
Yeah, those old things.
Yeah. Some 8-track cassette tapes. No.
Well, not quite.
But so and of course all that supports the wildlife refuge.
That's where our biggest income to do the things we do. Our biggest income is coming from that nature store.
So please support it by another great way to support the ecosystem and all the great work that happens out at Bitter Lake is by you coming and buying T-shirts and hats and books.
That's right. And we have some local artists who do little things for us.
Perfect.
We have a little wooden dragonfly pin.
Okay.
I didn't bring mine with me today, but those are available out there, and other unique items that you're not going to find them, even here in town.
Okay.
Anywhere else, they're going to be out there, and that's it.
Nice. So it's exclusive, and the only place you can get them is at the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge gift shop there. Real quick, go ahead.
One last thing about the gift shop.
Yes.
We normally have what we call RVers.
Okay.
These are volunteers who stay on the refuge while they're there.
Mm-hmm.
They will man the bookstore.
Okay.
So we get volunteer help.
Okay.
It's one of the ways that we can keep our costs down. That's why our prices are so good. But they do only stay certain periods of time.
Gotcha.
This summer, we're not going to have RVers.
Okay.
So we need volunteers.
Okay.
Who would like to come out to the refuge
and spend some time working the bookstore.
Working the bookstore.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you got a couple hours a week, you can donate there, or a day or two a week.
Yeah.
Whatever works in your schedule.
What we would like is somebody who can come in from 10 to 3.
Okay.
Or 10 to 4 or something like that.
Okay. So like a midday thing for a few hours.
To be there to open up, and be there to man the bookstore.
Sure.
Steve is there during the week, pretty much.
Gotcha. So if you have questions that you can't answer, or if Steve's there to help.
He can help you out, and we'll train you on how to use the register, what the stuff is, and how everything about it.
Cool.
But we would like to get some more volunteers.
And who knows? That's getting in on the perks of seeing and being a part of the volunteer force that is part of the Bitter Lake Wildlife.
That's right. So. If you would like to do that, I suggest really that you come out and talk to Steve.
Okay.
He would much prefer it be done that way.
But if you shoot a message on Facebook or something, we'll make sure that information gets to Steve, and he'll reach out to you.
Where am I looking at here? And I'm going to try and look up the phone number
for the office out there. Also, while you're doing that, of course, the Bitter Lake Dragonfly Festival will be happening on Saturday, September 10th. They're going to be doing the drawing again for donations and things here. Were those tickets, are they available now, or will that be closer to Dragonfly Festival?
We're going to start, at the nature store, you can get tickets now.
Okay, so if you want to, while you're there shopping or visiting, if you'd like to get a ticket. By the way, thanks to some fine folks for making a beautiful quilt. It's a queen-size quilt, wall hanging, certificates, and everything. That's for your donation of getting tickets for the drawing here.
Right.
That's what, if your ticket is drawn, you get to win that beautiful quilt.
There's a whole bunch of prizes on there.
Okay.
A lot of them are gift cards at Starbucks.
Okay.
Or
so if you don't even get the big prize, you got little treats to help. And all of this, again, that money, those tickets you're buying is going back to the projects and everything that's part of
Correct.
Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge.
Now, here's the new number.
Okay.
575-244-6256.
Okay. 244-6256. I'm going to write that down on this
Yeah,
sheet here.
do that, please.
244-6256, and that's 575.
Right, and that will get you to the front desk at the nature store.
Very good. So reach out there if you want to be a volunteer or want more information about that,
or just want to find out anything else about
general questions, hours of operation, what you can do, what you can't do out there, any of that stuff. They'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Very good, Don. Do we get it all?
I'm thinking did I find? Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
Walking trails.
Okay.
Not only do we have that butterfly trail as a walking trail, that's nice, but like I said, if you're going, it's a hiking trail because you can go these steps down and loop back around, or you can just take the one that's up on the top.
So
now, if you go down to the south end, you drive down the route.
Okay.
All the way at the south end, we have a now the name just went away from me. Anyway. There's a parking lot all the way down at the south end.
Okay.
And there's a trail that goes around that out there. That trail is about 3 mile walk.
Okay. So if you're looking for a nice place to
And
walk,
it's a good hiking walk.
Very
Yes.
good.
And it takes you out around the back end.
Make sure you get good footwear and plenty of water when you head out there. But
make sure you're wearing the right kind of shoes and that you bring your water, and you'll see the wildlife out there pretty much all day long.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's the best place.
If you're like, I'm not about being here at dawn, but I'll be here at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and maybe that's the trail you want to take.
That's right.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
But once you get there, ask about this stuff, and they'll be happy to point you.
Nature store can tell you exactly what's going on.
They can give you the maps and everything you need to find where you're going out there. So, very good. But come out, bring your families. If you're looking for something great to do here in Roswell, don't forget Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge is literally an oasis in the desert that you can come in and
That's what
spend.
It's for.
Yeah, come and spend time there seeing wildlife and nature and a different side of southeast New Mexico you probably never thought before. So very cool. Well, thank you, Don, as always. Appreciate the visit. We'll see you next time. All right?
Thank you, Mike.
All right. Don't work too hard.
You have a good day.
This guy does more work retired than any person I know that's retired. Thank you, Don.
Yeah, I have a full-time job. Retirement.
He does. He works harder now than he did when he's like, I got to unretire just to get a break around here. Thanks, Don. It is 8:50. Let's pause for some news, weather, and a quick commercial break. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. A simulated vehicle crash took place Wednesday morning on West Hobbs Street in front of Roswell High School as part of a demonstration designed to promote prevention of DWI, underage drinking, and texting while driving. The event giving students a visual example of the tragedy that the actions can bring and the impacts they can have on family, friends, and the community. A tragic house fire in Dexter leaves a man dead Tuesday. Dexter Fire Chief Justin Powell said the single-family home is a total loss. Crews got the call for help just before 8 Tuesday morning. They found heavy fire involvement. The name of the victim has not yet been released. The cause of the fire still under investigation. And Eddy County health officials say there still is concern regarding COVID-19 infections. In fact, confirmed cases in Eddy County saw a double-digit increase over the past month. You're up to date. That's a look at local news. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the high country, and we have low pressure off to our east, and that means gusty wind today, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Very warm with our afternoon high in the low 90s, and we'll be getting a lot of sunshine. Breezy and clear for the overnight hours with low 50s, and then close to the 90-degree mark again on Friday. Windy and sunny, 80s and fair for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Ford Motor Company reported Wednesday that it lost $3.1 billion in the first quarter, weighed down by its investment in an electric vehicle startup, and its revenue slid as a shortage of chips limited the supply of pickups and SUVs in North America. Ford said it sold 966,000 vehicles in the first quarter. The U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, which prints U.S. currency, is moving forward with plans to build its new facility in Maryland. The Bureau is expecting to house at least 850 workers on site, with 600 additional employees working remotely. The 104-acre site, located at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Research Center, has been officially transferred to the Department of the Treasury. It will house a new state-of-the-art production facility to print U.S. paper currency and other federal security products. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Roll in and save during the Moneyopoly event at Roswell Nissan with game-changing savings on a huge selection of vehicles, like a 2017 Chevy Malibu for just $279 a month, a 2018 Escape for just $249 a month, or a 2015 Rogue for just $149 a month. Get a mini Monopoly board and play the Plinko Cash Grab for your chance at cold hard cash just for stopping by. Get a free trip to Vegas with a test drive and bring your mailer for the chance to win $50 grand. Moneyopoly all month long at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. Hunting season's here again, and LGS Guns and Ammo is stocked up for your next hunt with everything you need. The draw results for New Mexico are in. Put that hunting, fishing, or trapping license of yours to good use and get to LGS Guns and Ammo for the hunting gear you need. Rifles, ammo, scopes, optics, binoculars, and so much more. From brands you know, like Ruger, Sulking, Vortex, and Burris Optics. Right now, take 10% off all firearms, 15% off accessories, and 15% off all Liberty safes. Do hunting season right with LGS Guns and Ammo across from Target in Roswell and at 109 North El Paso in Hobbs.
You're invited. Car Affair 2022, presented by the Cars Club of Carlsbad. Saturday, June 4th at the beach in Carlsbad. Early registration is Friday with a cruise. Then Saturday, car registration starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 10:30. Enjoy music, food, car-related swap meet, 5K run, door prizes, and a special Tri-5 Chevys area. To register or for more information, visit carsclubofcarlsbad.com or Carlsbad Automotive Restoration Society on Facebook. Enjoy Carlsbad's biggest car show, Saturday, June 4th at the beach. Ad paid for by Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The average person spends 6 months of their lifetime waiting for a red light to turn green. Share this information with a police officer that pulls you over the next time you run a red light. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:56. Got a few minutes here before we hit to the top of the hour here and move on with Town Hall News and all that. Stay tuned next hour. Here about 9:15 or so, we're going to have Marcos Nava join us with the Roswell Hispano Chamber of Commerce. Coming up is Cinco de Mayo Festival. That's right. It's happening this year, Friday, May 6th. And Saturday, May 7th, it'll be from noon to 10 on Friday, and then 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday. All happening out at the Chavez County Courthouse lawn here in Roswell. It's going to be another fun weekend of DJ music. They'll have the folklorico dancers. Of course, you can't have a Cinco de Mayo celebration here in town without a taco and jalapeno eating contest. They're going to have live music, country, tejano, norteño, and cumbia music, multiple food vendors, community and information booths, and lots of fun activities for the kids and more, too. But Marcos is going to join us next hour here about 9:15 and tell us all that's happening out at this year's Cinco de Mayo celebration. Also, don't forget that the folks over at Tobosa here at the end of May are going to be doing their Roswell Invaders big fun 7th inning stretch annual event. Swing by as Tobosa crashes the Invaders party for a family fun event. It's going to be on the Chaves County Courthouse lawn May 27th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. all day. They're going to have food, vendors, information, arts and crafts, meet and greets with the Roswell Invaders, and more. If you're interested in being a part of this event as a booth or want more information about the event, you can reach out to Tobosa by calling them at 575-624-1025 or 575-416-2209. You can also email Garambula, Grambula at trytobosa.org. Garambula at trytobosa.org, or call one of those numbers here. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And then also, don't forget, American Legion Post 28. They got a big car show coming up. Their first annual car show happening Saturday, May 14th. It's going to be another all-day affair from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it's going to be out at American Legion Post 28's facility there at 1620 North Montana. Entry fee, if you've got a car or a bike you'd like to enter into the car show, is just $25. And I believe it doesn't cost anything to come out and check out the sweet rides. But they're going to have fun. They're going to have fun and music, food and drinks, all that stuff. And, of course, a bunch of sweet vehicles out as part of it. And setup time will be between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., and then I think at 9 a.m. is when the car show will get underway, and it'll go to about 4 o'clock. But, again, that'll be at American Legion Post 28, 1620 North Montana here on Saturday, May 14th. Call 626-7041 for more information.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The American economy took a hit in the first quarter. The economy, as measured by the gross domestic product, shrank at an annual rate of 1.4%. Also falling, the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits.
The Labor Department reports jobless claims declined by 5,000 to 180,000 for the week ending April 23rd. First-time applications generally reflect the number of layoffs. The 4-week average for claims, which evens out the weekly ups and downs, rose slightly to 179,750 from 177,500 the previous week.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House. Antonio Guterres in Ukraine following a visit to Russia. The UN Secretary General will meet with Ukraine's president. Meanwhile, President Biden expected to deliver a remark shortly on the situation in Ukraine. The British foreign minister appealing to Western allies to send heavy weapons to Ukraine.
At the annual foreign policy address at Mansion House, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss urged Western governments not to worry about escalating the war, but to help Ukrainians in their time of need.
This is a time for courage, not for caution.
Truss warned world leaders that they may regret not helping Ukraine defend its country against Russia.
The world should have done more to deter the invasion, and we will never make that same mistake again.
NATO nations have supplied Ukraine with military weapons and gear, including missiles and armoured vehicles. But despite pleas from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, they have been reluctant to send fighter planes for fear of escalation. I'm Karen Chamas.
Wall Street's benchmarks have been bouncing around a bit this morning. Small gains, modest losses right now. The key averages are in the positive column. The Dow's up 57 points. The Nasdaq ahead 54, and the S&P is up 20 points. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
Are you unhappy with your Medicare supplement plan? Are you paying too much for doctors or drugs? Did you know that you don't need to wait for the annual enrollment period to switch plans? You heard me right. With Chapter, you can apply to switch your Medicare supplement plan whenever you want. Chapter is a free service that helps you make sure you are on the right Medicare plan for your needs. Chapter searches thousands of options to find a plan that best suits your specific healthcare needs and could save you thousands of dollars each year. Because healthcare should be your choice, not a bureaucrat's decision. Whether you're already enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan or you're new to Medicare, call Chapter and make sure your choice is the right choice. It could be the last call you ever need to maximize your Medicare benefits. The service is free, so call today. Call 800-611-9422. 800-611-9422. 800-611-9422.
Trade unions have called a nationwide strike in Sri Lanka. Apparently, it's having an impact. The BBC's Archana Chukta is in Colombo.
They've gone on strike, they've reported sick at their workplaces, and they are marching towards this golf face area outside the President's Secretariat. Behind me are thousands of protesters who are still coming in here with banners and slogans saying that's enough. They're frustrated with the shortage of essentials on the ground, with rising cost of living, with every single basic commodity costing more than 2 to 3 times in the last 3 months or so. And they are demanding that the government, both the president as well as the prime minister and the entire cabinet, they step down and a new face of Sri Lankan cabinet comes in place that will deal with this economic crisis.
While the government of Sri Lanka is insisting it is working on plans to deal with the situation. News and analysis at townhall.com. Yet another example of your tax dollars at work.
The Government Accountability Office has issued a report saying the Federal Emergency Management Agency may have been double billed for funerals of hundreds of people who died of COVID-19. The GAO says it has identified 374 people who died and were listed on more than one application that received an award from the COVID-19 Funeral Assistance Fund. That amounts to about $4.8 million possibly paid in improper assistance. A spokesperson for FEMA said there was no large-scale fraud and the amount of potentially double-paid funeral assistance was relatively small. As of late last year, FEMA had awarded about $1.5 billion in COVID-19 funeral assistance. Mike Gracia, Washington.
And once again on Wall Street this hour, the Dow is up 92 points, while the NASDAQ trading 82 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Indeed.
Hope it's going swell for you.
Oh, yeah.
NFL draft starts tonight.
Yes, it does. Round 1 kicks off, I believe, later this afternoon.
Evening, yeah.
We'll have first-round coverage starting at 5 o'clock, I believe, over on our sister station.
Yeah, I hate and love the draft all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's nice because you're like, all right, we got some new players coming for your team, how they're going. But I am not one of those people that could sit there and watch like back-to-back coverage. Like even the first and second rounds, I'm like, I just, until my team's pick comes up, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care what the other teams are doing. I know some people, and part of that's because I'm not a college football fan. I don't watch college football regularly. So I don't care where the other players go. Now, if I watch college football and cared about it, I guess I would be more interested to see where various players go. But I'll tune in when my team picks, and then I go back to my day, and then I'm done with it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the mindset is I understand people like to sit down and watch the long form thing, but in 2022, it's hard to wrap one's head around not just going and picking up the highlights off the internet afterwards.
Like I could, exactly. But I could even see, okay, maybe tonight the primetime ones where you're just doing the first round tonight and then 2 and 3 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But Saturday when it's 4 through 7,
right,
and it's on, and it's just they're just filling time while picks are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the excitement of watching that. To me, there's about 70 other things I'd rather watch than that. Right. And those 70 things are things I still wouldn't just choose to pick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I'd rather watch like hearings on C-SPAN. At least that's something new. You know what I mean? Than to just watch the Saturday picks.
I do like
draft.
seeing kind of the way that sportscasters try to make it a little more interesting. Like in years past, where they'll have cameras set up at certain potential players like hometowns or whatever, just to get their hometown reaction.
Yeah, I mean, they try really hard to make.
And then the trolls. I mean, those are always kind of fun.
Yeah. And I will admit, I do like watching these young college kids with their flashy suits for the first time, and they come in, and they've got their first like real high dollar suits, and they come rolling in with these alligator shoes or even like what's his name did when he was drafted, Ezekiel Elliott. He had a suit on, but he had a half shirt underneath, like his button-up shirt stopped at his navel, and then he had a regular suit coat. But then he opened the suit up, and they just exposed his six-pack of belly.
It was like a dickie, but in dress shirt form.
Yeah,
that's very odd.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure there's pictures online of it, but I remember that one, and so I do like those moments of like, what is that man wearing?
Right. I mean, if I
told him that looked good.
If I was going to do it, if I was going to get drafted, full party boy. Like, tearaway shirt, breakaway pants, and then just like, probably some kind of Speedo underneath.
Okay.
Yeah. And then immediately get kicked off the team.
I was about to say, you don't want to tick off the people about to pay millions of dollars to come out.
And then just Venga bus across the stage.
Like, here's the future of our team, some kind of Speedo. And it's like, that makes him a little bad. The future of the team.
But he can catch a football.
This guy. But I like it. I get into some of the hype, but overall, I'm like, I don't understand the people that watch this 24/7, and I don't even know. Like, it's in Vegas, I think the first rounds or whatever. That's where they're doing it. I mean, that's okay. You're going to Vegas. Hey, let's go to vacation to Vegas. While we're there, NFL draft's going on. I'll get tickets and sit and watch it. But short of that, I wouldn't go to Philly to watch when they do the draft at Philly, or I'm not going, or even New York City for that matter. I'm not going there just to watch the draft.
You know what? It's something that I probably will notice more as things start to get kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
We didn't, and I think it's just kind of the looking back thing. We didn't really take time to look at how absolutely bat crap crazy doing stuff during the pandemic was.
Yeah.
Like I'm remembering the NFL draft that happened. I believe it was the 2020 draft.
Okay.
Where Goodell basically led the whole thing from his living room.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And it was, the whole thing was like, what's going on with the with Goodell's shelves? What does he have back there?
Yeah, he was in his basement, and they tricked out his whole basement with a whole studio and everything. I remember that.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like this, it's a weird like nugget of time where it's like, I kind of miss the idea of, looking back at everybody's like weird kitsch stuff on their shelves. We're never going to get to do that again.
That's the best thing about the Zoom world that I like is, you get to be nosy and peel into people's, it's like, and I'm not going to lie. Like on the news now, when they get your experts on and they're at their little home offices and things doing it, I'm not going to lie. If you have weird or dumb stuff in the background, I take you less seriously. Even if you're saying good information, like they're saying great information, but I'm like, but why do you have that picture hanging there?
Is that a live, laugh, love sign?
Like if you think that's good, you make poor choices. Do I want you to tell me what's right? You know what I mean? So I do dig that because you do kind of get to peel back the curtain.
Do you have framed comic books on your wall? Yeah.
You kind of get to learn the what this person is into when they're not pretending to be professional.
It's sort of like forced us to think about staging in a way that we never have before.
Yeah.
Because I'm way more conscious about what's going on behind me now than I ever was before.
I should be. I'm not, but I should be.
Well, always done a pretty good job of putting on a good background.
Well, I just have crap. Just my junk sitting back there.
A smattering of nonsense.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
My whole brain's a smattering of nonsense.
That's basically, this is a Mike Winters mosaic.
It kind of is. That's but my whole life I've done that. Like if you went to my dorm in the Air Force, it was equally dumb. Probably worse, because I was in a phase at that time that I loved ugly. The uglier and the more off-putting it was, the more I wanted it as decor in my home.
Fair enough.
I was just in that, because it was a military dorm, and I lived there by myself. I'm single. I'm like, I can't afford nice things. Let's embrace the stinky, junky stuff, and just go all in with that.
Leaned into the suck.
So I went to the thrift store and bought the most uncomfortable, ugliest love seat, and I had that in my dorm room. I had a TV from my bedroom TV from high school, so I had that there. Nice. And of course, I had a dorm fridge and a microwave. No, microwave was mine. I bought the microwave. They didn't have a dorm fridge. I went to the commissary or the BX and bought a microwave, and because my last year in the military, they were remodeling the chow hall by my dorm, so they gave us BAS instead of just letting us go eat at the chow hall for free. I could eat at the chow hall for free at the Flightline one, but I wasn't always by the Flightline one.
Right.
So I'd be at home, and I have no way to eat unless I want to go to McDonald's or something. So I got I made so much tuna helper in microwaves when I was in the Air Force. I made that's when I got my that's when I had my love affair.
Dude, I'm sorry, tuna helper is that's a hard sell. Hot tuna is a hard sell to me.
It wasn't. Fortunately, I didn't have it a lot growing up. So and I did it myself, and I was kind of like, and after eating so many frozen burritos and Red Baron pizzas that you could microwave, that it was a nice change to have something that wasn't like something you nuked for 3 minutes. It was about as home cooking as I could do in a dorm room there. With my limited. I wooed my wife with tuna helper.
Yeah, I've heard the story. How could she say no to this Casanova?
Man, swinging up tuna helper in a dorm room, and it was
in a microwave, no less.
That's
efficient.
I'm a wooer.
You know what you do? You marry that man,
and that's what she did.
She did.
She put a ring on it.
She husbanded you.
Sorry, ladies.
This tuna helper is taken. It's weird though, because the Helper series, it already feels like and my daughter loves the cheeseburger macaroni and the stroganoff. Those are her two go-tos.
I'm a fan myself. Every great once in a while I'll have one myself.
You already feel like kind of a phoned-in father when you're making hamburger helper, but then the box almost makes you feel better about yourself. Because it gives suggestions of things that you could try that are even more ghetto than what you're doing.
Add some peas.
No, it's like, try this with cut up hot dogs. I'm like, oh my God, why? Cheeseburger macaroni with cut up hot dogs? That sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible when you tell your friends. Secretly, you're like, I want to put a couple hot dogs in this.
Okay.
I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
Here's the thing. I lived for a good part of my life in a family where one of the consistent meals of the week was beanie weenies.
You're a lucky boy.
It's not fun.
I would have been happy.
It was, and they usually had fried beanie weenies and fried potatoes.
You know how much torture I could have given my brother by a steady diet of beanies and weenies? I would have, because at those stages, whenever I got those gas, I made sure to hang out with my brother to share, because he used to get mad at me when I do it. So anytime, like when we went camping, I literally made him cry on a camping trip because they gave us beans, and I literally ate a pound of them, knowing that I was my brother was my tent mate that night, and I swear that. I'll never forget this day. We all were in our little tents in a row, and at like 2 a.m, I guess I'm asleep, but I'm
you were ripping.
I was letting her rip, and I had the sleeping bag open, of course, to let it permeate. And so I had 3 friends tell me that when I woke up in the morning, my brother's screaming at 2 a.m, "For the love of God, Mike, will you please stop?"
See,
and they woke up the next morning, everyone's giggling and laughing and having a good time.
That's really his brotherly love right there. Knowing that you're going to put yourself in intense intestinal distress just to put your brother through torture.
Yep. That's what I did.
That's brotherhood right there.
It's good to be the older brother.
For the love of God, Mike, will you please stop? That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was a good time.
Mike was recreating the scene from Blazing Saddles.
The wild, wild world of sports. We need some more beans. You've had enough.
Campfire scene over here.
But
it's a good thing you weren't sleeping near open flame. That could have ended horribly.
Oh yeah, we did that earlier. It was in the wee hours of the morning. But I love that stuff. So I don't care. I would try it. I would totally cut up hot dogs and. My philosophy's always been: what's the best condiment on a burger? More meat.
Sure.
What's the best condiment for Hamburger Helper? More meat. Throw some hot dogs.
If you're gonna do I would think as a supplement for the beef, like you're not gonna put beef and hot dogs in it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels wrong.
Well, you eat hamburger and hot dogs at a cookout. It's like a cookout on one plate. Yeah. It's an Italian cookout.
It's still not right. There's still something that's just.
And I'll even ghetto it one level layer.
Inextricably ghetto about it, the whole thing.
And I'd even ghetto it one layer heavier.
Okay.
I would pour ketchup in there, mix it up too.
Oh, God bless Mike. No. That's.
Now that's a party. Now that's a party.
That hurts my soul. But there are those moments where you're like, all right, I am a pretty good dad. I'm browning beef.
Yeah.
I'm not putting cut up hot dogs into pasta and sauce mix.
Does she like some of the more I don't know what the word is, the more exotic hamburger helpers, the ones that are kind of taco or any of those?
No, she's literally it was an adventure for her to try stroganoff. That was a stretch.
Yeah, because that's kind of a sour cream situation.
Because she likes the cheeseburger macaroni, the stroganoff. Those are her two go-tos. She's very brand specific though. Like you try to get the off brand, you have to kind of convince her. This tastes just like their brand name.
But the problem with the cheeseburger, there's like 6 different types of hamburger. Yeah. There's like a double cheeseburger, a bacon cheeseburger. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I'm missing something.
More often than not, the regular just cheeseburger macaroni is hard to find because they have all these other ones. They're just everywhere. Yeah, so that's
but if you went double cheeseburger with more cheese, you wouldn't be down with that?
I tried to get it one time, and she was like, no, and she grabbed the other box. So if I did it, she would have to not know about it until after the fact.
Yeah, you'd have to get that and fix it while she's not home or not watching you fix it, and then just, and then she probably wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
I've gone to the point where...
And then you fool her. Afterwards you say, ha-ha, that was double cheeseburger.
Right. Yeah, I've done that before too, but then she'll pull that thing where she doesn't want to finish, or she won't have more.
Wait till it's all done.
Right.
And then when it's all done and after dinner's like, how was that dinner? Oh, that was so tasty.
You just ate spiders!
Double cheeseburger!
Spider helper!
Victory pop!
Yeah, and I've done that on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
Where I've... the other one is... If a brand changes the packaging of their product, like the way it looks, the label, that's a bit of a hard sell.
Okay.
There's a kind of juice that she likes that recently they changed. I don't know if it's the formula or what, but it's slightly darker than it was before.
Okay.
And the label changed, and that was like a good 2 weeks of having to take it and pour it in the old bottles
to get her to be okay with it.
Before finally we were like, look, this is what it is. It's the same stuff. You're good.
Yeah. You just need to buy generic brands of things.
I mean, I grew up on commodities and I was fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if she's that picky on brand loyalty, you just generic it all the way out. Then you can, anything that she gets a buy on that is going to seem like an upgrade. You know what I mean? So.
Right. I really wish we would have started out on Bar S.
Ooh.
Yeah, we started Oscar Mayer. I don't know what we were thinking.
Well, at least you didn't get up to the level of Nathan's or Hebrew.
Yeah,
National.
no, we're not swinging Hebrew National ballpark money over here.
Or
I ain't balling in ballpark categories.
Although I'm a staunch Nathan's guy.
Dude, I do like a good Nathan's.
Yeah.
Like a good Nathan's Frank.
I mean, if there's me buying hot dogs, I'm usually buying Nathan's, and if they don't have Nathan's, and it's as close to that as I can get.
This is completely off topic from anything we've said, but it's your show, so that's
the whole show's off topic.
That's pretty much the whole MO. I have looked everywhere trying to find a replica Nathan's Hot Dog Championship belt. They don't exist. The green belt with the gold plate. They don't. I want one so bad.
And they don't make one?
They don't make them. I'm gonna have to have a belt maker actually commission him to make a Nathan's hot dog replica belt for me.
Or
and even then, I'd probably run into copyright issues.
Or either that, or get Joey Chestnut or Kobayashi or any of these guys to give up one of their belts.
Sell one of his titles.
Yeah.
Of all, I want a wrestling title belt, but of all the belts I would want, that would be the one seed.
So, just curiosity, if you went to get a wrestling belt, obviously you're not getting the original real one because that's the wrestlers owning that. But to get one as close to possible, what's that run like a person?
Well, depends on who you go through. If you have one through an actual belt maker, there's 2 or 3 good ones out there. There's one in the UK, 1 or 2 here in the States. You're looking probably $500 to $700 for a really good replica.
Okay,
the AEW,
that's actually cheaper than I was envisioning. I was thinking thousands of dollars.
The AEW replica. Well, if you're talking commissioning an actual, you can get upwards of with the tooling of the leather and stuff. You can get upwards of $1,200.
And I'm sure there's precious metals in there too.
Sure.
And stuff.
But for a really good replica, you can get. I think the one that they're selling through AEW is $700.
Okay.
But it comes with the bag and everything, and it's closest thing to the title you're going to get.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess our guest isn't here. I have not heard or seen or anything here. So let's do this. It's 9:24. Let's go ahead and get you up to date with the weather. Take a break. If I've got time, I may run an interview if we don't have anybody here. But let's do this. Let's get you up to date on the weather. It's going to be hot today. Enjoy it.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the high country, and we have low pressure off to our east, and that means gusty wind today, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Very warm with our afternoon high in the low 90s, and we'll be getting a lot of sunshine. Breezy and clear for the overnight hours with low 50s, and then close to the 90-degree mark again on Friday. Windy and sunny, 80s and fair for the weekend. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 63%. Winds are, in fact, calm at the moment. We do have a red flag warning that's going to take effect beginning at 10 a.m. this morning. That will remain in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Sunny today, 94 for a high. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 this morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Tonight, skies will be clear with an overnight low of 53. Winds will remain breezy out of the southwest, 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Those temps will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Friday, sunny and 91. Winds will be out of the west, 10 to 15 miles per hour, increasing 15 to 25 tomorrow afternoon. Clear skies tomorrow night with an overnight low of 50. Winds out of the west, 15 to 20, dropping down 10 to 15 after midnight. And then for your weekend, sunny, 85 for Saturday. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, we're looking at sunny skies, highs right around 91. All right, it is 9:26. I have not seen my guest yet. We're going to take a commercial break, and then if our guest isn't here, I may replay an interview. I'm going to see what we got up and available here. But if unless our guest shows up here, so we'll interview them on the other side. But quick break. We'll be back. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
If your family's like mine, they're ready for some fun. Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. A trip to Glenn's is like a trip to Disneyland. A new buttery soft power reclining sofa and love seat turns your living room into familyland. Cozy new bedroom furniture turns the bedrooms into dreamland. A handsome new dining table transforms your old food court into a 4-star restaurant. And it's all in stock, on sale, and ready for free delivery. So treat your family with a trip to Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda.
For over 40 years, Sierra Blanca Motors here in Roswell have been providing locals with quality vehicles and are committed to providing you quality vehicles and service for many years to come. No sales gimmicks, no inflated pricing, just a quality pre-owned vehicle listed at retail pricing or less. Have a used vehicle to sell? Get top trade-in value or an amazing cash offer today. Let Danny or Jose provide you a great car buying experience. Call 575-622-7907 or stop by Sierra Blanca Motors at 720 South Main Street in Roswell. Se habla español.
Your ride is broke, needs a fix? Come on down, we'll take care of it quick at Big O. Big O Tires. Whatever the problem will ease your fears, we got experience nearly 60 years at Big O. Big O Tires.
With nearly 60 years of experience and high customer ratings, you can always count on your local Big O Tires to give you quality products and trustworthy service, all for a low price. Come in now through May 8th and save between $70 and $100 on select sets of Bridgestone, Firestone, and Pirelli brand tires. Plus, receive free basic installation. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price not to exceed $35 where permitted. See store for rebate and installation details.
Roswell is our home. That's why we've all got to do our part to stop illegal dumping. Throwing your trash, clutter, or yard debris in the alleys, sidewalks, or streets is a crime, and it takes time and money to clean it up. Those caught dumping illegally can face fines of up to $500. You can help by taking your waste to the landfill once a month for free with a paid water bill. Call the City of Roswell Solid Waste Department for more information at 575-624-6746. Help keep Roswell clean. After all, do you want your kids to grow up in a dump?
Buying a sewing machine from a big box store or online might seem like a bargain, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Just the machine. No lessons, no help with figuring out why it isn't working the way you expect, and no one close to fix it. Buying locally from an authorized retailer may cost a little more, but in the end, it will save you time, money, and aggravation. Come see me, Chris Ann, at So Easy Sewing, 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell, and let me show you why it pays to shop local. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A U.S. quarter has 119 grooves on its edge. A dime has one less groove. So by definition, that makes a dime less groovy. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:30. Do not see my guest here, so what we'll do in its place, we had Kevin Mavers join us from he's the city development director for the city of Roswell. He joined us on the air Wednesday morning and yesterday morning, and they talking about from the planning and zoning meeting, talking about cannabis, the ordinance and the latest on that, and some community housing areas that are being put up here. So we had about a 23-minute conversation with him about that yesterday. So we're going to play that for you right now. Here is Kevin Mavers, City Development Director for the City of Roswell, our interview from yesterday. Enjoy. And now, officially joining us in studio this morning, City Development Director Kevin Mavers back with us this morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Mike.
Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. I apologize.
I took a short nap. We've had a lot of late nights lately, so the extra 15 minutes was a very welcome break.
Well, very good. Well, I'm glad I could help there. So, yeah, you're right. A lot been going on here in the city as far as development side goes. Cannabis is a lot on people's brains, but that's not actually. There's a lot of other stuff going on too.
There is a lot of other stuff. In fact, I was, if you tuned in to last night's planning commission meeting, I referred to it as a green letter night, a green letter night, because it's and let's talk about the cannabis situation just a little bit, because there's been a tremendous amount over the of misinformation, disinformation, some outright rumors, and other things.
A lot of scuttlebutt.
That Roswell's cannabis ordinance was improper, illegal, didn't keep in mind the intent of the state and everything else. And last night proved that all of those rumors are completely incorrect.
Gotcha.
Okay. The two companies that came forward last night, Pecos Valley Production, which is one of the largest cannabis companies here, certainly in this part of the state.
Yeah.
And then Ultra Health, NMTO Ultra Health.
Another large.
They're statewide as well. And in fact, the gentleman that spoke last night said that they are the number one largest company statewide. Of course, it depends on how you measure largest.
Sure, I'm sure that's up for debate.
I've got at least two other companies I'm aware of that claim to be number one in the state of New Mexico. But
they are a big deal in the industry.
They are a big deal. They are a big deal. Anyway, both of these companies were the first to apply to convert their existing medical marijuana facilities to have combination facilities to be able to sell both the recreational and the medicinal.
Gotcha.
They both filled out the applications properly. They both provided all the information that we felt was appropriate. The public hearing was set for last night. It was held. Staff provided all the data and the information, and then the applicants came up to speak. They both made terrific presentations. They addressed every single one of our security, safety, public health concerns, and everything else. And at the end of the evening, both of them were moved forward to the City Council for the meeting of the May meeting with recommendations from the Planning Commission for approval.
Okay. So is that their last step next month at that meeting?
Next month at that meeting will be their last step.
Okay.
They, assuming the City Council agrees with the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the slight differences that the City of Roswell has over a number of other, rather than leaving it completely in staff's hands. You know, the City Council, when we put together this ordinance, they decided they did want to take a conservative approach. Okay. And that approach, quite honestly, was based on the research that we did about what has happened in other states and other communities the same size as Roswell. By taking a conservative approach, by putting in controls to assist with public health and safety, to make sure that we get all the information that we need, by taking that slower approach, we let people get into the marketplace, we get to analyze, we get to adjust, and then it's far easier. And this is the one thing that I'm not sure that everybody understands.
Okay.
When it comes to legislation, whether it's local or state, it is far easier to loosen the reins than it is to tighten them down.
Okay.
So
they went uber conservative, and they'll loosen it as they see where it's probably areas they can do. And then
I don't think anybody has denied the fact that the City of Roswell, the City Council, the previous City Council anyway, wanted to take a more thoughtful, long-term approach to this. It's not that we were violating any state laws. There was still as was proven out last night, there is a path forward, and we got the first two. Next month, we actually have, I believe, 4 additional cannabis facilities that are coming forward. They didn't quite get all their information turned in time for last night's meeting, but they got it. And then the month after that, we have another 1 or 2 coming in, including a couple of brand new facilities that are looking at. So everybody's moving through the process.
Gotcha.
And so I called last night a green letter day on our calendar because it proved that the approach that the City of Roswell took, while a little more time consuming and a little more thoughtful, certainly more conservative than some other states, some other cities that just threw the doors open wide, is a valid and thoughtful and very legal approach.
Is it basically, and to try to kind of break it into the simplest terms possible here, is that the philosophy was we rather get it right than get it fast, and by doing that they're slowing the process, but they're going very conservative and saying, okay, let's cover all bases, and then as more and more people go through the process, it'll be streamlined to like, okay, maybe this is a bit excessive, we can back off here. This is a good part, we need to ramp up here. Am I kind of am I oversimplifying it here? Or is that pretty much?
You're not. I mean, I've worked for municipalities, and I've worked with the cannabis industry in 3 different states before coming to New Mexico. I worked on projects in California, Arizona, and Colorado. All the states take a slightly different approach, and each municipality within the state takes a slightly different approach to how they do it. That approach reflects the culture of the individual community.
Gotcha.
You know, some cities, and I'll use California as an example because that's the one I'm most familiar with.
Sure.
There are some cities in California that got on the bandwagon very early, and they still took a very specific approach. They wanted to get into the cannabis industry, but they wanted to get into the cultivation, the manufacturing, everything else. They weren't quite sure about the recreational retail sales part of it.
Sure.
So they would approve a portion of the industry and then say, we'll wait and see where the rest of it goes.
Gotcha.
And they
use
used
that as a microcosm.
Yeah, they used it as an economic driver.
Gotcha.
They wanted to. There were other cities that looked at it, and just from the cultivation standpoint, they said, you know what, we like the idea, but we're a farming community first. And knowing and understanding that the efficacy of the product, the cannabis product, is going to determine its retail price, we believe that we should take advantage of indoor grow technology rather than letting people come in and take good arable land for food and produce and convert that to cannabis growth.
Gotcha. Because the farmers are like, I can make more money with the cannabis, and now we got an issue with like everyone's growing weed, no one's growing corn.
Exactly. So if you go to the deserts of California and Arizona, or you go up into Colorado, what you'll find is these incredible high technology growing facilities that operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and allow for product to be produced 12 months out of the year.
Gotcha.
You don't have to worry about the growing cycle.
Because they can control the sun, all the climate conditions.
You control everything.
Yeah.
And going beyond that, because with an indoor grow, you are allowed to, number one, you use a tremendous amount less water per plant, because you can recycle, you can reuse, you can control the amount of water that you get in there.
So
you don't have infiltration problems and things.
Pardon the pun, it's more green growing.
Yeah, it is. But the bottom line is with an indoor grow, you produce much better product as well. And so that's where I hope our industry is going to go.
Yeah. And that's where the science is.
That's
really
where all the science is.
Yeah.
And what is happening in other areas is you're seeing that indoor grow technology being driven by the cannabis market that's now filtering into the traditional agriculture market. And so you're finding places that have very high-tech greenhouses now that are growing tomatoes all year round and growing green leafy vegetables.
So that
all year
technology
round.
that they kind of discovered in cannabis, they're transferring over to food.
Well, they're certainly making it a lot more viable, that's for sure. And of course, because more people are using it, the cost, as we all know, the price of technology does tend to come down over time as it's adopted. That's why these monitors that you have here in the studio that were $2,000-$3,000 only a decade ago are now $295 at Sam's Club.
Yeah, exactly.
But the technology comes down, and that's one of the things I really do hope with our local producers, because I believe it was the gentleman from NMTO Ultra Health that pointed out the challenges in the industry right now are finding. They said they could certainly sell a lot more. They could generate a lot more tax revenue for the cities if the supply chain was broader.
Gotcha.
And so what we're seeing is the industry is growing and prices are going up at the retail level because the supply chain.
It's all supply and demand.
It's all in short supply right now.
Demand's very high, supply not so much.
So it's a. And we have even paved a way in our own city ordinances for those indoor grow facilities, for those high-tech facilities. If somebody wants to build one of those, they just need to come to our office. We'll talk to them. We'll let them know where they can put those facilities and what they can do. But like I said, the bottom line and the reason I do believe last night was so important is it was a proof of concept.
Gotcha.
Last night, it really was that we took a very thoughtful approach. Mm-hmm. Yes, we were ready to go in January.
Sure.
And that all people needed to do was go ahead and apply, go through the process, which the first two have done that. They've gone through the process. 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks and 2 days from now, they'll be at the city council level, and the city council will make a final determination, and we will have our first couple of recreational cannabis facilities here in Roswell.
So assuming everything goes according to plan at the May meeting here, then hopefully by early summer, we're starting to see the recreational side.
Actually, they should be able to start selling immediately thereafter.
Like the day after or whatever their logistics are up and ready to do so.
And that's, the last night's meeting did include a variety of, if you read the staff report and looked at all the information, there was a series with a conditional use permit. We supply the applicant with a list of what we call conditions of approval.
Okay.
You need to provide these things before you open. Okay. And in that list, there was a number of different things that they need to do. I can pretty much guarantee they're working on them today.
Nice.
In advance, because they do want to open. They do want to convert immediately. And I would imagine, because the next meeting is on a Thursday night, that they probably want to begin selling for the weekend.
Yeah,
I would imagine they'll be in my office frequently, and they'll be getting everything in place that they need in anticipation of a positive reception at the city council meeting.
Just a G-Wiz quick question, and I have no idea. As far as, like you said, both of these two companies are medical, and then now they're going also recreational. Now, is their plan to offer both at the same facility, or do they have to go one place for the medical, one place for the recreational?
No, the answer to your question is they will offer both.
Okay.
In fact, the gentleman Leonard Salgado last night made the presentation for Pecos Valley Production, and he actually brought in samples of the. Now he didn't let us try them. But
brought brownies, everybody.
But he brought in copies of all the information to demonstrate the and showing the packaging and the labeling on the packaging, showing the information that was provided along with it,
what it's going to look like when you go to buy it.
And again, letting everybody know that the pursuant to state law, that a certain percentage of the product must be set aside for the medical cannabis users.
Gotcha.
You cannot go 100% retail. You must provide a certain percentage. And in truth, I think what we're going to find is that there's going to be a pretty significant balance. There is, I know I believe most places are setting aside 20 to 25%, but I've heard that some of the facilities around town, or not around town, but certainly around the state, are looking at, it's more of a 50-50 balance.
Okay.
They're seeing about 50% of their merchandise still go out the door as medical, and 50% go out as recreational.
And as they get a larger sample to study, they'll probably tweak those numbers to be a little, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, this is all new for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And so after a couple years of numbers, they'll probably have a better idea of those percentages.
Oh, I'm certain their marketing people are staying on top of this, and their supply chain people and everything else. They're making sure that they have adequate supply,
and I'm sure they're
gearing up for adequate supply for everyone.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're looking at like Colorado's numbers, because I think they're probably the oldest numbers in the book as far as stats on cannabis.
Colorado definitely, I believe, is with respect to the recreational industry.
Yeah,
Colorado is the
longest,
oldest.
So.
California is the oldest with medical.
Medical. What did I say? Yeah, because they started what, like
1996.
Yeah, I'll say I was like early 90s. I know it was way ahead of the curve.
96. That's actually an interesting story, because there's been a lot of information going around about where did the term 420 come from and things like that. And California, I have to give the state legislature in California just a bit of credit for being at least a little bit creative. The Senate bill that approved medical marijuana in California was Senate Bill 420. Okay. Now, of course, as I was writing the ordinance for here in Roswell, I wanted to play on that. I wanted it to be Chapter 420 of our development. The city council wouldn't let me do that.
Nah.
Neither would the city attorney.
They didn't want to have the meeting at 420 either.
No, couldn't get it. The legal committee wanted to meet at 9 o'clock in the morning. Come on, 420. Let's have a little fun with this.
Right.
All right, but
we'll do fun use.
Last night was again. It was an interesting. I am really happy that Pecos Valley Production and NMTO Ultra Health stepped up, and they were the first to come in.
They're setting the example.
They both made great presentations last night. They answered all the questions that came from the Planning Commission. They answered them well and thoughtfully, and it was actually, I believe, a relatively easy decision for the Planning Commission to recommend approval.
Nice. They did their legwork. They did their homework. They dotted their I's, crossed their T's, and now we good luck in May here at the City Council, and we wish them luck, and hopefully the business thrives and does well here in Roswell, New Mexico.
Well, and that kind of leads us into, if we have time.
Yeah, we got time. Let's talk a little other development things happening around town.
The growth that we're seeing in that industry, of course, as well as the growth that's happening out at the airport, new restaurants and other things. Of course, that's driving new residents, and the city and our local builders and developers are responding. Last night we had another two actually units of a major subdivision up there off of Country Club at Nevada come through. So the Planning Commission approved another, I believe, 110 home sites as well. And it's a good thing we are, because at least as of right now, our local builders, the reports I continue to get back, in spite of some of the supply chain problems and in spite of the cost of doing business going up, they're still selling everything they can build as quickly as they can build it. So
demand's there. It's
demand is there.
As supply comes in, they're going and doing it.
And that's one of the nice things to see our local building community stepping up. They know there's a market there. They are responding to that, and that's one of the things I want everybody to understand, is that there's going to be some challenges with the growth, the prosperity. Economic prosperity does not come without a price. There's always an upside and a potential downside.
Absolutely.
And I do want everyone to know, because there were questions that came up, not only at the Planning Commission, but at the City Council meeting last week, relative to traffic flow, relative to water supply, and we are incredibly lucky here in the city of Roswell. We have a wonderfully talented and very capable team that works for us, from the city manager to our public works director, city engineer. I'd like to think that my office in community development, with our planning and zoning team and others, very professional people, very talented people. In fact, I will put up the team here in Roswell against any team in the state. And they're looking at all these things. We understand the cumulative effects of growth. For myself in particular, having come from a rapid growth state, and I went through 3 big boom and bust cycles, again, the thoughtful approach, being able to know and understand, okay, with growth comes these challenges, and we're able to get out ahead of it before it becomes a major problem.
And that's the only way you can really stay up with those good problems to have when it comes to growth, and so that's something. And I'll say, to the credit of this city, that's something they've always, that's like the infrastructure and things like that. They're always been pretty good at trying to be 2 steps ahead with the infrastructure of this community. So when we have these booms of building neighborhoods, guess what? They can tie the water in, they can tie the roads in, and it doesn't create a big quagmire over in that area.
And that's where the difference between being proactive and reactive. We do have a very proactive, forward-thinking team here at the city, and there are things happening behind the scenes that are going to make the development over the next decade very seamless. It's going to be, not them saying there aren't going to be some challenges. We've still got maintenance issues. We're still going to have to shut things off and block a few roads and do other things. But you're going to find that they're going to be planned. They're going to be they're not going to be reactive. Like, unfortunately, we've had some water main breaks recently. Those, there's nothing you can do about those other than get out there and take care of them as quickly as possible.
And unfortunately, what happens on those is they'll get a water main break, and because the lines, generally these are the old lines that break, that haven't been replaced yet. So what happens is they'll fix that line, but it creates a pressure, like couple feet down, and so what happens is they'll fix one, but it begats 2 more sometimes. So it's literally like plugging holes with fingers at some point. So that's generally why these delays happen, is because they really open to fix one thing and they open up a can of worms with something else.
It is, and water is the most difficult.
Yeah.
We have a lot of. I mean, let's face it, the city is 100+ years old.
Yeah.
And we have some pipes in the ground that I think are nearly that old.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's kind of, this just isn't Roswell. This is across the state of New Mexico. What was it, 80 years ago, whatever it was, when they kind of put these pipes in and they just lived past their shelf life. I think they were designed to go 50, and now they're here 80 and pushing 100 years.
And of course, with our naturally hard water that we have here, the corrosion and other things that go along with it. So yes, you end up fixing the pipes in one place, and then you go back to re-energize the pipe. You want to open it up. You want to repressurize. You want to blow everything out. And what you find out is now you've created a problem downstream. And you create another problem downstream. So you end up chasing things until you get everything fixed.
Until they go in and just place the whole line, which is what you've seen in various parts around town.
And of course, any of the new development that's coming in, they're using the latest and best type of product that should have a much longer shelf life. We won't have near the problems that we've had in the past. And we again, I'm looking for still a very, very bright future for the city of Roswell. I am proud to be a member of the team, and I'm looking forward to coming back next month and reporting on even more good stuff.
And we do appreciate you keeping us up to date here. But one thing I do want to, maybe end on this note here is we've got it pretty good in this community. When in terms of a community that, we've been, face it, from base closures throughout time, we've been hit with some curveballs in this community, but this community's thriving pretty good. I mean, we had some hard times back there after base closure and things, but really, things have been growing. It's been a constant. This city's growing. It's not dying, and that's something that not all communities in New Mexico, in this part of the country, can say. And we're very fortunate there. We have, we got problems like everybody else does, but you know what? It's this community, people are coming here, things are growing, these are all good things, and we want to continue to foster that. So good deal. Well, thank you, sir, as always. Appreciate it. Of course, if you have any questions for Kevin, don't hesitate to send him an email. You'll find it City of Roswell's website, roswell-nm.gov. .gov, I'm sorry. Go there and shoot a message.
Yeah, click on the community development tab. You'll see my information. They just took a wonderful picture of me, so I'm assuming that Juanita Jennings is going to put a brand new picture of me right above my contact information on the community development webpage. But just click on that link. You can drop me an email, or better yet, pick up the phone and call. That's on the webpage. It's a direct line, comes right to my desk.
There you go. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate the visit, and we'll see you next time.
All righty.
We look forward to talking about newer and bigger stuff, too.
Always.
Excellent.
Always.
Thank you, Kevin.
Always something good to report.
Excellent. All right.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. A simulated vehicle crash took place Wednesday morning on West Hobbs Street in front of Roswell High School as part of a demonstration designed to promote prevention of DWI, underage drinking, and texting while driving. The event giving students a visual example of the tragedy that the actions can bring and the impacts they can have on family, friends, and the community. A tragic house fire in Dexter leaves a man dead Tuesday. Dexter Fire Chief Justin Powell said the single-family home is a total loss. Crews got the call for help just before 8 Tuesday morning. They found heavy fire involvement. The name of the victim has not yet been released. The cause of the fire still under investigation. And Eddy County health officials say there still is concern regarding COVID-19 infections. In fact, confirmed cases in Eddy County saw a double-digit increase over the past month. You're up to date. That's a look at local news. I'm Jared Cirillo.
The conservative underground meets right now. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The Bureau of Land Management issued a record decision reducing land availability for energy leasing. They're going back to 2013 levels instead of moving forward. You would think if we're energy independent, that's great for national security. We don't need to beg Russia, Iran, Venezuela, OPEC. We don't need to worry about the Straits of Hormuz. It creates high-paying career jobs. It lowers the price of energy, which lowers the cost of every product we buy in every store, lowers the cost to heat and cool our homes, and we can even produce more energy and give it to our Western European allies that Putin is now blackmailing.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Freshly. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at freshly.com/terms.
I really want to eat better, but I don't have the time. What can I do? Go to freshly.com. Our nutritionist-approved meals are prepared by skilled chefs and delivered to you fresh every week. I don't have time to prep and cook. Freshly's meals are already cooked. Just put them in the microwave for 3 minutes and you've got a hot, gourmet, delicious, nutritious meal. And now, get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. With Freshly, there's no worry about grocery shopping, ingredient checking, or hours spent prepping and cooking. Savor Freshly's variety, from comfort food classics that are carb smart and gluten-free to dairy-free options, plant-based meals, and more. And you can adjust meals and deliveries based on your schedule. A healthy, delicious meal in 3 minutes? I have time for that. That's Freshly.
And now get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got some baseball today. Goddard playing at Artesia. Starts at 5 o'clock. The two teams will hook up in Roswell for a doubleheader on Friday. Meanwhile, Roswell hits the road today to play at Clovis. They'll play at home for a doubleheader on Friday. And Gateway Christian playing a doubleheader today at Floyd. It starts at 2 o'clock. Gateway is 11-4 overall, 6-0 in district. NMMI will wrap up its schedule on Saturday with a non-district doubleheader at Texaco. The Colts coming off a pretty big victory over on Saturday by defeating Sandia Prep 8-7 in 9 innings, the only district loss for Sandia Prep. NMMI then blew out Tucumcari Tuesday 18-0. Dexter at East Mountain Saturday for a doubleheader. That starts at 11 o'clock. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Word of a decline in the gross domestic product in the first quarter. The GDP fell at a 1.4% annual rate, January through March. Falling by 5,000, first-time jobless claims settled at 180,000 last week, meeting economists' expectations. McDonald's revenue rose 11%, $5.66 billion January through March, beating Wall Street's expectations. And Caterpillar's first quarter sales increased by 14% to $13.59 billion. That topped analyst expectations. Twitter's revenue rose 16%, hitting $1.2 billion the first 3 months to March, compared with the same period last year. Net income of $513 million, or 61 cents per share. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell.